Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
What's going on, you guys? This is the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions and the baddest of all time, Shane Taylor, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
Hello! Wow.
That.
We're back. Together.
In action.
I don't care. You're getting an echo this week. Mark's a little distraught.
Is it me that's echoing?
I don't fucking know. There it is. There's the explicit. Jenks, tell everybody what I'm drinking on a Thursday night.
Well, he's drinking. He didn't even tell me what he's drinking, so I guess I'm guessing Maker's Mark at this point. Yeah? Is that what's in there? Do you know what's in here? This lovely Happy Halloween boo glass?
Water.
Yeah, it's just water right now.
Because you're a good kid.
Well, I debated putting I don't have any beer in the fridge right now, but I was thinking about putting in the pumpkin whiskey or the candy apple whiskey. We might switch to that after in the segment 2. We'll see how segment 1 goes.
Are you not working tomorrow? I'm working tomorrow.
Oh, I'm working 2 tomorrow. That's why I didn't put any in right now. But we'll see how segment 1 goes. And if I got to crank out a glass here, we'll see what happens. But
well, I'm going to jumpstart all of this today.
All right.
I'll ask you how the hell you've been in 2 weeks. I'm going to bring it back to something that was way back when we first started. And I got a story for you. And then we'll talk wrestling. Don't worry. We'll get there. Take shots on all night. Garbage tips. Remember garbage tips, folks, who have been with us all along? Here comes one. Don't pass a garbage truck on a double line as we're picking up garbage. So, this morning, we go by somebody's house that doesn't have their garbage out. 75-year-old lady, if you're listening to this, go fuck yourself, by the way, too. And if it costs me my job, I can get another one tomorrow. Go fuck yourself. So she didn't put her garbage out this morning. Okay, we drive by. The cool thing is, when we go back down that hill, it wasn't out. Because maybe we would have ran across the street, got it, whatever, as we're picking up the other side of the street. Fine and dandy. Wasn't out. Head down the hill. On the hill, we have about 5 or 6 stops that we stop and pick up people's garbages. Cool people, small community, all wait till the garbage truck gets down the hill. Understandably, they know the garbage truck is on hill, maybe 3 minutes. We're quick. Out of nowhere, in the up lane on a hill, comes a maroon car passing tractor trailers and other people that are behind us. Well, again, garbage people know other people in the world. One of the people was a lumberjack, truck driver type of deal guy who has all of this on his dash cam.
Oh, my God.
She comes blazing past everybody in the up lane as everybody's at a train. Maybe 5, 6 cars and 2 tractor trailers behind us. Passes them all, and my driver noticed because there is another tractor trailer coming up the hill in a distance. So he edges his nose over to kind of let the tractor trailer not to get speed because there's a fucking retard, moron, sorry, I'm going all off tonight, coming down the hill to give us 2 grocery bags of garbage. not hefty bags, not 2 grocery bags of garbage. Stops on said hill. Truck drivers are calling this lady every name but a white Christian human being because, listen, we know the truck drivers, we know the lumber guys, small community. The one guy calls the office before we can even report what has happened in this mass chaos of almost death because the other guy was really paying attention to picking up garbage. I was on the other side of the street. Really, the only one that was looking in the back dash cam was the driver to see this and the guy hauling a freaking load of lumber who, when he honked his air horn, kind of alerted us that here's an idiot coming down the other side of the street with 2 guys. I literally mean 2 Walmart bags, Wegman bags, Milo bags if you're in our area, Piggly Wiggly bags, Sure Fine bags. Whatever you get your groceries in, that is what she needed to deliver to the truck in 30 seconds. We blow her off. Everybody's going by her. The people on the up lane now are like, lady, what are you doing? She follows us to her next dumpster. I have to go in that store and tell the person, hey, we're here to do your dumpster, da-da-da-da-da. The other guy goes prep the truck, gets the hook ready and everything. She starts walking behind the truck now to throw in said bags in the garbage. Again, all videotaped on this trucker's dash cam, who is already now called into the office and said, your boys did nothing wrong. This lunatic passed about 8 cars and 2 tractor trailers to drop off 2 bags.
What?
So do not pass garbage trucks. We are alert. We understand. And don't be in an opposite lane. Don't.
No.
Your garbage is not that important. It really isn't to yourself or the world. So that's why I'm a little distraught today. Legit, and I'm not blowing this out of proportion. If I can get my hands on this, I will post it all over Can Crushers to show you guys. It could have been a 8-car pile up and a couple casualties for 2 bags of garbage. There's your fucking PSA for the day.
2 fucking Walmart bags of garbage. We decided that was the appropriate action to take.
Yep.
Are you fucking joking me?
Maker's mark. Nerves are a little shot today.
What? Like, I'm assuming this person had a death wish. Or just is done with life and didn't care what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the way I ended. I mean, legit, we were that last dumpster away from being done. And here comes fucking Santa Claus coming down the hill.
Oh my God.
Making joke of this now. We literally took, we had to go to the office and and kind of debrief and everything. Like, no, there was no accidents. There's no injuries. There's nothing. Because everybody was kind of smart. And again, I'm not using names, but shout out to the homeboy logger guy. If he didn't beep his horn or his air horn, there may have been something.
Oh, yeah.
But he was looking, I mean, he knows us. I know of him, but he knows other people in our crew that are good friends. The beverages flow on weekends with him and everything. So, yeah, looking out for us. He's behind us every week.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. So our uppity up town manager made a phone call to rectify this. We'll find out how that went tomorrow, apparently, in that part 2 of the meeting.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It sounds like maybe it wasn't close or it was close, but it was just surreal when it all happened.
even if it wasn't close per se, that person put dozens of lives, at least a dozen lives in danger. Because I'm assuming those cars had multiple people in them that were sitting there, lumber trucks. Maybe it was 1 to 2 people that were in those. The garbage, you guys alone,
We had 3
man crew.
Yeah.
There's just for 2 garbage bags, 2 fucking Walmart bags of garbage that could have just sat
another week
another week and collected 2 more, and you would have had 4 to collect. I don't think.
And we could dump the can.
Was she getting rid of the body at this point? Like what?
Me and the other guy in the back did not touch them. She legit threw them in, and then she's like, "Thanks, guys." Like nothing had happened. She was like, "Thanks, guys."
That sounds
drove away.
That sounds like somebody's not totally there.
Clearly.
Oh my god.
Clearly. So.
Jesus Christ.
How was your week?
I'm glad you guys are fine. That's where I leave that. I swear to God, if you guys there should be nothing that comes against you. We're not getting my week yet. If there should be nothing that comes down against you, but for the love of God.
No, the boss of bosses said, if somebody's willing to give his dash cam up to show that we did nothing, he's like, clearly you guys did nothing. Well, the other person was going 45 down a hill, passing other cars to bring 2 bags of garbage. What could we have done wrong?
Nothing. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is amazing tonight, by the way.
And it is. Oh shit. My week was not as exciting as yours. My past 2 weeks, because I was not here last week.
I know.
Yeah. Not as exciting as you. I had to take a sabbatical because I was hosting a party that brought together 2 families for the first time ever. So that was stressful in its own right. And I have a lot of gray hairs now to compensate for that. But everything went well. Nobody was poisoned by the food I cooked or anything. And now I got a shit ton of pumpkins sitting out on my front porch from the festivities. So
how many did you carve?
Personally, I carved 2, gutted 4, because I did my nieces and my girlfriend's because they don't touch the insides. And then we ended up with, let me count the picture. I want to say at least 10.
On your front porch?
On my front porch right now.
Joyous.
I'll show Mark, but.
He can send this picture.
Send the picture. Yeah, I'll send the picture to you.
We can use it as a thumbnail since we're recording ahead of time.
I'll show you right now. If you can see it. If
Jesus. I saw some of it, but
yeah. So there's a lot of good things. It went well. We tie-dyed a bunch of shit too. So
That's cool.
Yeah, we were doing. So this is what happened. So last year I started a thing. 2020 Halloween sucked. First year in the house, couldn't pass out candy, couldn't do anything. I'm like, last year I was like, I got to do something. I need something to bring me joy. I was going to hand out candy anyways. This was before the girlfriend started. And I'm like, I'm going to do pumpkins and tie-dye with my family. So basically we carved pumpkins, tie-dye.
These teeth on some of these are amazing, by the way. I am definitely using this as a thumbnail.
So I will tell you, those teeth glow in the dark. They're actual teeth they're made for the pumpkins. So they're actual teeth. They glow in the dark. You stick them up in there. They're fantastic. But so yeah, anyways.
That's the display I've seen this year, by the way. Pat yourself on the back and your family.
Oh, thank you. And I'll pat the girlfriend's family on the back because they did some of them too.
Yes.
You see the cow?
Your family, her family, yeah.
I got to give her sister props. She carved a cow into one of them.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better ones of the whole night. But
Artiste,
yes, very artistic. But so yeah, last year was success. This year I'm like, you know what? Screw it. They're gonna have to meet at some point. Let's introduce the 2 families together. And I could tell she's been really stressed about this for the past month and a half because now she's a new person this week. And I'm like, that's what was going on these past month and a half. Brought them together. Everybody got along great. Nothing bad happened. They loved the chicken tacos I made. They loved the the beef that I made because I made ox roast if you're from Pennsylvania. If not,
yeah.
So it's basically the meat you use for beef on rack French dips, anything like that. Smith's brand. It's amazing. Cook that up. Everybody loved the food. They loved the carving activity. They loved the tie-dye. We ended up with too much tie-dye though. So I was literally pulling shirts out of my closet. We tie-dyed curtains at one point. So like, we gotta use this shit. I go downstairs. I let it sit for the night because the tie-dye had 24 hours, and there's a family emergency with my sister. One of my sisters had with her husband's family. They had to come afterwards, but then they came back the next morning and tie-dye some more. So I went downstairs, pulled up some dirty laundry that I had, just tie-dyed the shit out of it. I gotta wash it anyway, so might as well tie-dye it.
Tie-dye underwear? Tell me you did.
No, I don't, because I don't have any whitey tighties. I don't do the whitey tighties. People, that might be TMI for you guys, but I'm not a whitey tighties person. But
it's not getting clipped out either.
No, don't let it get clipped out. My girlfriend's like, well, what about socks? I don't do white socks either, so we don't have those. So I'm like, but yeah, so used up as much of the tie-dye I had, pulling every fucking thing out of everywhere that I could tie-dye. I tie-dyed. But yeah, it looks pretty good. A lot of long sleeve shirts. I took a couple of old wrestling shirts I had, tie-dyed those up because I thought they'd be kind of cool like that. One of them was Dancing Sami Zayn. If you know that shirt, I love that shirt. It's in the closet. I kind of ruined it before. It got a little bit of red on it. Like it was like red. Something else that was in the wash kind of dyed it a little bit red, so it was a little off kilter.
Your silk underwear, probably.
Yeah, exactly. But no, now it looks great with the blue tie-dyed swirl on it. So they turned out pretty good. So we had a good week with that. Outside of that, can't complain. The niece, they actually went to Disney on Sunday after the whole event. So they're in Disney right now, living life, and I'm jealous as shit seeing all the crap that they're doing and the fun they're having. So
I want to go someplace.
I know, right?
Boo! I'm happy for them. I am.
I'm super happy for them. She's got a lot of cool stuff. She got this dragon looking thing. I think it's from Avatar. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a dragon thing, and the thing moves. Head moves. It sits on your shoulder. The wings move. Everything. It's a fucking animatronic. Whatever she got, it's amazing.
Sounds like a loan as well.
Probably wasn't Pretty Penny. It had to have been, but but they did it. So yeah, they're getting a lot of cool pictures and that down there. So I'm kind of jealous. They did the Star Wars stuff today, Muppet stuff today, and all that stuff. So
Muppet stuff.
Yeah, they were sending a lot of good Muppets pictures and that.
It's been I've only been to Disney once, and it was '89. So you can imagine how much has changed since then. We've always wanted to pull the trigger for Ethan, and it was we're gonna wait till he gets bigger so we can enjoy it and do all of it. Well, now he's 16, and he probably would never want to go. No, he'd go to Disney with us without a doubt. Now we're broke adults.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Does Mark give up his podcast for a month? No, Kelly. No. Does Mark give up Wrestle? No. It's about Mark. But maybe when Ethan graduates, because that's always cool graduation present for an 18-year-old boy to go to Disneyland.
I've never been. No one in my family has been.
Good. You can come with.
Thank you. I did have the chance to go this time. I had to turn it down. There was things going on when we were trying to plan it and all that, so it never worked out. It never planned out for me to go. But now I'm officially jealous, so maybe I'll crash your trip. If not, I just go by myself, or I guess take the girlfriend. I could take the girlfriend to Disney.
I was gonna say, if you don't take your girlfriend, I will always go with you.
Yeah.
How about we take the 40-year dash and Can Crushers in this boys Disney trip?
Honestly, I'm down for it. I gotta go to
spring
Tampa.
training.
I love it. I gotta go to Tampa anyways for one of my goals. So why don't we make it during spring training? Go to Disney, go have some fun. This starts an annual trip, by the way. Think about this.
It does.
Because we start this. Let's say we do it next year. We go down spring training. We enjoy the Disney and all that shit. The next year, WrestleMania is in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're on track to make that happen at some capacity.
I'm sure we are.
So things are in the works.
Things are working.
What happens.
And again, if next week when we win whatever the Powerball is going to be, beer's on us.
By the way, that was disappointing news this morning, waking up, finding out I didn't have that. But
yeah,
you had a worse morning than I did, so I'll leave that go.
Well, that's how my morning started. I didn't win the Powerball.
And then it just literally rolled downhill from there.
Literally. More on that later. No, that you heard it all. All right, so you've been off for 2 weeks. Let's get into some wrestling. People were like, "Oh my God, these guys are deranged."
You know, the best. Listen, if anybody's saying that, this is not the longest we've spent on this segment before. We spent a lot longer discussing other things outside of wrestling.
Well, all right. Well, you want to go there? I've actually been doing a little more prep work. I'm not one to fast forward my life, but boy, do I want it to be July.
Oh, yeah.
EA Sports has released that this is just going to be the biggest college football game in life. There's a week off work already coming. Like I literally want to fast forward my life for a video game. This is unbelievable. There's games I've always like, the show or wrestling or something. I'm really amped up about it. It's not 10 months in advance. Like, I cannot wait for this. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's October 31st. Yeah, it's November 2nd. Yeah, it's December. I'm wanting this to rip through months.
Dude,
you sit in my mom's basement and play NCAA football.
I would be all about that. Like, I've been dying for it, but then again, I have to buy a new system for that, so that's a whole other thing I got to do. But see, I'm lucky. I have one more game, although it's coming soon, in between now and NCAA football that I can obsess about for at least a month and a half span. I feel like, because that's that's a lie. It's probably going to take me 3 weeks to beat the game. But the new God of War comes out in 2 weeks, and I am a big proponent of that game, so I've been loving that. I pre-ordered it, waiting patiently for it to download on November 9th so I can play it. Then I have to wait for college football and possibly buy a new system or find a new system, trade somebody a kidney for a new system so that I can play NCAA football. But we'll have to see what happens.
I have one as well, and it was supposed to come out in November, but it is now since been moved to March. I don't know. It's a pirate one. It's called Bones Thugs and Harmony. It's about becoming a pirate, and it's open world pirate stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm excited. The cool thing is, Jenks, neither one of us brought up that we're excited for AEW wrestling right now. It is literally a month away. Ballparking.
I know, because I'm not sure if I am excited for it. From what I've seen, I don't know.
It looks 2 weeks fun. Like, I hate to say it. They have to release more on it.
They do. Exactly. It looks like 2 weeks of good, hard fun, and then you're sitting there like, man, would I pay? Like, what did I pay for? Is it what I'm hoping is, and I'm not saying it will be anything close to No Mercy, but I'm hoping it's like a No Mercy where they said it was going to try to be No Mercy like. So if it's kind of leaning into that realm, that might get some long play through. If they got a survival mode, a kind of weird story mode that they did there that was based on real life for No Mercy, I could buy it. But I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be very arcadey, very not engrossing. Like,
it's not pre-ordered on my book yet.
It's not on mine either.
By now it should have been.
Well, let's talk. Like, I mean, how early did you pre-order 2K, WWE 2K? Was that month?
Maybe probably 2 months, because I got the NWO package, so I wanted to make sure I got that before it was sold out.
Yeah,
sold out.
Yeah, sold out.
Yeah, and the Undertaker pack. Like, I got all of that, and I wanted to make sure I was in line for that, just so I could have everybody unlocked, because I don't like doing the unlocking stuff.
Yeah.
There's no special pre-order for this as of yet. I mean, unless it rolls out in the next couple days before we actually put this up, because we're recording a completely different day of the week. But I'm just saying, like, who knows? But it's on. You have to pre-order it only through GameStop.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I would trust GameStop with the person driving the car this morning.
No, at GameStop, I've stopped using GameStop a long time ago. They're shady in their practices for the most part, from what I've seen, what I've dealt with. And to that point, I'll say it. The news that's come out about some wrestlers being left in, out, you can call me an FTR marky all you want. But now in recent events where one of those individuals is probably going to get bought out of his contract, and there's no point in.
And he's a cover person.
And he's a cover person. Not sure I really care about. You know what I mean? It's like I lost a lot in that exchange, and then like it just feels like it might be something I buy on discount sometime.
You're right. If it only rolls out December 29th or whatever day they're looking at it, it does. Yeah, it is December 29th because it comes out on a Thursday, which is random. But games always come out on Tuesdays or the Friday before to get the free. Yeah. This is on a Thursday. What? And it's not like just because you're getting a pre-order. No, it comes out that day. With nothing. I don't know. You got a month to make us buy this.
And I don't think they can. I don't think they're gonna. It just feels like to me, it's almost on like a New Japan release schedule in the US. Because I think Fire Pro, when it came out way back when, in 2017, 2018, something like that, it was an odd day of the week.
Was out years ahead of time, but.
Right, but what I'm saying is like it's on PS4 and all that, but it came out and it was like came out on a random day of the week, and it just didn't feel like, you know, you can get some of the stuff, but it wasn't really anything too spectacular. There's not a lot of buzz and fan around this, and to be honest, I thought they'd maybe start putting in more spots for it. They did it a little bit for the pre-order, but they haven't really talked about it since then. Like I feel like you have the platform, hype it up on your programming.
This game has been in development since AEW has been in development. Yeah. And now AEW is what? 3, 4? I don't know how many. I don't know how to count.
3 years.
Yeah. 3 years. This game is essentially 3 years in the making. And is it going to be 2K19? It's living up to it right now for me.
Yeah. And 2K19 was passable. It wasn't 2020, which was.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, no, but to your point, there wasn't a lot of fanfare around 2K19. It was what it was.
A game
we had to put out because we have a contract.
Yep.
That's what it was. So.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't have any. I don't know. I really don't have any games coming out until nothing that I'm ready to invest in except college football. And then if it's the $5,000 package to get a piece of, I'm not even going to say a passing, whatever, a piece of Acrisure Stadium, I'm paying $5,000 to get a piece of Acrisure Stadium.
That would be smart, to be honest. If you could get like little cut of grass or turf, if the place has turf, let's be honest, because a lot of people use natural grass still in college football and that. But like,
it's Heinz Field, it's natural grass.
Well,
they replace that sod there every week.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it works to their advantage. They beat Tampa on it, so that's all I'm gonna say.
That's the last win of the year for them, and maybe Pitt.
Hey, now give Pitt some credit. They're doing well this year.
They got UNC Saturday. I thought they beat Louisville. They did not. UNC's ranked. I don't know. Then I get to go to the Syracuse game. Guess I'm a little bit worried about that one now. Good thing we're.
What's Syracuse ranked now? 15th?
16th last time I saw.
16th, yeah.
Then they have Duke and Miami, who suck this year, so maybe they can get bowl eligible.
I think they can. What's their record?
4-3 right now.
That's not bad. I mean, they could probably get bowl eligible.
Yeah. This is now depending on if we're going to buy season tickets next year. Wrestling. Hot take.
Yeah.
Hot takes over the last 2 weeks, because we really didn't do hot takes last week with our friend from the Final Count, Ryan the Riot Mosley. He stepped in just to touch base and see what they're doing over there and everything. Talked a little more Impact, which was nice. He watches it because he gets it all the time, unlike me or you.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, what has been your hot take before we dive into some of these shows?
I think you know what? I'm saving my biggest hot take for this past Wednesday, because I have a take on everything transpiring on Dynamite, because I think that was my biggest thing so far.
So you'll save that for the Dynamite spot.
I'm going to save that for the Dynamite spot, because now I gotta dig through my notes here and refresh my memory. Go back 2 weeks here.
For me, in reality, nothing's been a major.
I mean, if I'm going back, I think the biggest thing in the past 2 weeks was Bray Wyatt, and everything that's transpired with him, the emotional promo, everything that's built out of that. I think that's been my past 2 weeks, is just where's that going and how is that going to take off? And then what's with everybody? Well, I'm going to specifically call out Liv going off the fucking deep end and going crazy in a lot of her shit. Are those connected? What's the connection here with those two? It's kind of, it lies with Bray, because that's what piques my interest so far, outside of my not fanfare for Booker T's commentary. But we'll leave that neither here or there.
You brought it up.
I brought it up, but I mean.
So before recording, Jenks asked me, I'm jumping right over, you don't care.
I did go for it.
It's because the Maker's Mark's starting to kick in. The whole death by crazy person has left me now. He's like, I'm not all the way through Halloween Havoc, this, that, or the other. Guys, listen. I love Booker T and Harlem Heat. I love King Booker. I loved all of that. I can't listen to him. I can't shucky ducky my whole way through every match. He's not. I didn't like him. Give me heat. Give me hate. Give me whatever you want. It's just because. And people are like, Mark, you suck at commentating too. Cool. Don't listen to me then. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm choosing not to listen to Booker. I didn't like him on pre-shows. Why the fuck am I going to listen to him for 3 hours? This is going to be a explicit filled show. Why am I going to listen to him for 3 hours?
Yeah.
I don't like Joe Buck. He could be calling the Tigers and Mets World Series game. Not that that's ever going to happen, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to listen to Joe Buck. I will go listen to Greg Gagne calling it from Seawolf Stadium.
Yeah. I think I said this 2 weeks ago. This feels like just a placeholder for Booker T. They needed somebody, a body in a seat, until Pat McAfee came back in January. Because Booker T, I can't.
It's going to be the longest 2 more months.
I know, because I can't, like, your point exactly. I can't listen to Booker T commentate. Love him as an in-ring performer. Love everything he did with Harlem Heat. Love everything. I especially loved King Booker, which was annoying as shit, but it was great. It made sense. It was fantastic. But him on commentary, it doesn't sound like he's invested in the product. It sounds like he's just, I think, I can't remember the exact instance I heard when I was watching Halloween Havoc today, but it was somebody that, I think it was Carmelo Hayes. It was somebody that had been long established there, and he's like, well, let's see what this young guy can do. Well, we know what he can do. Carmelo Hayes is 2-time NXT US champ.
Yeah.
You know, he's been around the block. He's been there a while. So it just seems like he's not in touch with the product. And then it doesn't seem like it's translating into telling a story. There's not a story being told by Booker T, which is what I would hope for from a color commentator. Corey Graves, Pat McAfee, they've kind of given us the blueprint of what we can expect from the color commentators. You know what I mean? So you understand a story's going to come out of it. They might be over the top. They might be loud, but there's a story coming out of it. I'm just not getting that from Booker right now. I'm not hearing that from Booker.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think Graves and what's his face on Raw are clicking great either.
They're not.
Wade Barrett and Michael Cole they're good.
I agree. I mean, Michael
They're not
Cole
great.
can control everybody, but they're good. They have chemistry. They can feed off of each other. Barrett was good to begin with. I mean, Barrett's good to begin with on commentary. Is that why they didn't put Booker in the SmackDown spot and brought up Wade? Because they're like, or Fox was like, oh, we need somebody to tell the story. If you're going to push the story here,
the two best they have is Cole and Graves. I mean, everybody loves Pat because of his antics.
Yeah,
fine and dandy with that. If you're going to give us Pat back, why not let Graves chill? Because nobody's seen Carmella in 3-4 months now. Why don't you let Graves go back with Cole on SmackDown and let Raw suffer more and have Barrett and what the hell is the other guy's name?
It's Kevin Patrick, I think.
Yeah. Put them together on Raw. And then if you need to make that switch to send Graves back over, or just put Carmella, because trades are happening rapid now. Apparently it's trade season in wrestling.
Yeah.
Just send Carmella to SmackDown and let Graves and Cole go. If that's what they need, for their relationship and everything, use Carmella first of all. But yeah,
I have to agree with you. You might as well. Maybe that's the point. Is they have to spread out their two best guys. They need to do something for the commentary teams to get people in. I mean, nothing against Kevin. He's just not entertaining. I mean, Jimmy Smith was at least somewhat entertaining when he was commentating.
Yep.
And I think this Kevin guy needs maybe to be in NXT to kind of build up his stamina. He was good backstage. I mean, you get it. He was engaging. He needs to refine it. It's like Byron. I almost said Baron, but Byron Saxton.
We'll get to that too.
Yeah. Well, Byron, when he first, I remember when he got thrown to the Wolves the night after WrestleMania when Brock lost the title to Seth on the cash-in.
Yes.
Because Cole got thrown around. Like they had to go to Byron and they made him carry the show and he just struggled out there. And that's nothing against Byron, but he was left to the Wolves. He wasn't properly in a position to do that kind of work at that time.
Now he is.
Now he is, but he's getting there. He's gotten better. He's not the greatest, but he's gotten better. Would it have, I guess to that point, would it have been good just do Byron and Cole Graves? Or would that have been too much bickering back and forth? I think that would have been entertaining, to be honest. I know not a lot of people like that.
Monsoon and Heenan. I'm not comparing them to Monsoon and Heenan. Yep. Don't come at me.
Yeah.
But they bickered all the time.
I was just thinking that. They bickered back and forth. Heenan or Monsoon always yelled at him to stop it. It was always back and forth. It was entertaining. I love those commentaries. Let Byron and Graves go for it for a couple months and see what happens.
Then wean in. Maybe WWE needs 3-person teams to listen. Michael Cole's probably not going to be around forever. Listen, it's nature, it's life. You're kind of grooming somebody. We think throw them in, work them in. WWE, maybe wrestling across the board is a 3-person thing now to get. Here's the jokester, Graves. Here's the lead guy, Cole. Here's going to be your next guy in 5 to 7 years. Kevin, Byron, Mark, Jenks, whoever.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would say if they're not going to go that route, then I would make the switch to bring Vic Joseph up from NXT, put him on Raw, flip Kevin Patrick to NXT. Why? Graves and Vic Joseph do the After the Bell podcast together, and they're great at it. So why not keep them together and have build off that chemistry that they have and let them go forward with it? Heenan, we go back to Heenan and Heenan and Gorilla. They were best friends outside of it. That's what made them work so well. Because they had the chemistry, because they were best friends, they could get away with that shit. That could happen here in this booth. But to me, I think they're not pushing some things forward right now because I just feel like there's things down the pipe they want to do. Like they want to do something down the pipe, maybe the night after WrestleMania when they start really shaking things up. And maybe that's a part of that 6 to 12 month deal we've talked about.
Yep.
It's maybe this is just patchwork until we get to that point.
Well,
I don't know.
It's rough.
It's rough. Very rough.
All right. You want to talk about shows? I want to talk about shows.
Let's talk about
shows. Have been fun, actually.
Yeah. I like the show. There was a lot of good shows this week.
Quickly, because we both are going to get more liquor. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all at CanCrusher69. Send us an email. If you want to be on the show, best way to do it, CanCrusher69@gmail.com, or slide into our DMs. Al Snow, he gave us a promo code. You save 10% when you buy from Collar and Elbow. Find us on, by the promo code. The promo code.
Yeah, we got to do the promo code there.
Promo code is Can Crushers. All one word, capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. And we are available wherever you're listening now and everywhere else. Generic. I got a lot in this month, so maybe this is the one the advertisers are like, wow, you guys sucked, but you almost died that day, so we'll give it a slide. Here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. We'll be back with more liquor on Can Crushers.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast with Big Time Bill Collier. Give it a try, give it a listen. You won't be sorry.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Mark Martinez, the Mark, and Sir Michael Jenks, since we did not do that in the opening, in case you were like, who are these guys talking? I've never listened to Can Crushers before.
Who are these fucking idiots talking?
Jenks, I know we're going to talk about the shows real quick. Starting WWE this week because I'm intrigued. But, guys, if you don't have Vice, make sure you get on YouTube. They put them out a couple days later. Tales from the Territory has been better than Dark Side of the Ring. I love Dark Side of the Ring, but Tales from the Territories has been unfucking believable. We're just going all out today. I don't care anymore. Unfucking believable. It is people from Memphis, Jerry Lawler. Memphis kind of had two. AWA's was amazing. I just watched Championship Wrestling from Florida. B. Brian Blair was on there talking about mooning a kind of like a family restaurant, essentially, because they pulled a prank on them. If you love old school territory wrestling and you love the stories, like when we get the legends on, we hold them down and beat them to give us some story, right? These are the stories you're getting. It's on Vice, but if you don't get Vice, they come up on YouTube a couple days later. Watch them. You'll love them. They're amazing.
Yeah, and they also, I think they show up on Hulu at some point because I've been catching Dark Side of the Ring on Hulu as well. So I need to catch up on Tales from the Territories. But
all of them.
Oh my God, this sounds good.
All of
them. Really good.
Everybody knows the Andy Kaufman story about him and Lawler getting into it in Memphis and everything. I didn't know Kaufman never cashed a check when he was working in Memphis. Jerry Jarrett would like pay him. When he passed, like his family found the checks, never cashed, and he just wanted to be part of it. I don't want to ruin that whole one about Kaufman, but there was so much that he was made to maybe ruin wrestling with the air quotes that Mike just saw. He was keeping it real the whole time. Like, one more thing. After he took the first pile driver, he was fine. He sold it in ring, all that. He demanded to go to the hospital, and they're like, that's going to cost us $500 or whatever amount it was. He's like, I'll pay for it. Then he coerced the hospital to keep him for 3 days, even though nothing was wrong with him. Right?
That's amazing.
I love him now. And I didn't know that prior. I mean, it may have been out there, but when Lawler was, I was just so fascinated with him. And there's other ones that would blow our explicit. Like, I don't know how Vice is allowing some of this stuff on TV, but I'm like, what? They just said that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'll watch them again just because they're awesome. This last one, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Bob Roop and B. Brian Blair and Steve Kern are 3 main guys on it, and it was awesome. Make sure I'm awesome all over the place now, but I love it. I really do. All right. Jenks gave you his 2 cents. He hasn't watched them, he said. SmackDown. When we went off the air last time, before we had Studo, Sir Michael Jenks, step in for a show.
Right.
We had a car wreck. We had Karrion Kross bleeding all over the place. We had Drew. It's not the main thing on last week's SmackDown, but we're going to get to it because I think this is awesome. Damn it. Stop with awesome. Apparently, that's going to be the word of the segment.
It'll be the word of the week.
It was amazing. I love where these guys are going. And it leads to, spoiler, next week we'll give you predictions for Crown Jewel, by the way, which I cannot watch live.
Oh, you can't? Oh, yeah, you're going to be...
I'll be on the way to Pittsburgh to go
I'm sure I'm going to end up doing something as well, so I won't be probably watching live either.
But we'll watch. We'll cover it, definitely, because I'm intrigued by it. If not for, I want to see Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre in a cage match.
Yeah. That sounds like, that's going to be brutal, and it sounds like it's going to actually be something worth watching. That might be the first cage match I'm actually excited to watch in WWE in a long time.
Since Ultimate Warrior shook
probably,
the cage.
Probably, I'll give it some credit, probably since late 90s, early 2000s. It's not much credit, but I haven't been sold in some of these cage matches they've had as blow-offs. I think this might be the first one I'm genuinely excited for to see what they do.
Done right, this could be the showstopper, the stealer, I think. Like, everybody wants to see these 2 big, beefy men slapping meat.
This would be the perfect way to do that.
And nobody can, I'm not saying injured-wise, popularity-wise, whatever, I don't think anybody gets hurt in this match. Drew can still trickle on, taking the loss, and you just put a skyrocket up Cross's ass, and propels him to maybe Brock, maybe Roman.
Yeah,
a lot to talk about there.
No,
I don't know if you listened to last week's show, but I have a thought, and we'll get to when we get to the bloodline. So, what more do you want to talk about them? I love this. I love this. Like WWE, it's getting love from me.
This is what we've been waiting for. The turning point when it becomes a wrestling show with a storyline elements into it. The steel cage is being perfectly built up. It's becoming brutal. With news this week that they're getting, the past 2 weeks that they're getting rid of gimmick pay-per-views. Now things are starting to transform and starting to become more personal, more vindictive. This is where we see I think the rebirth and the resurgence of Hell in a Cell being the
something meaningful
playground, the most brutal place they can settle a feud in, because it's going to be withheld until the very last minute, until the very last match between 2 people, instead of being an overused gimmick. I think they're on the right track with this. So for me, I'm now seeing what we've been waiting for happen, and I'm just totally excited about it. I'm ready to go. And I haven't been ready to go for a Saudi show ever. And now I'm like, this might be something I want to watch.
Yeah.
Do I wish I could watch it live? Probably. Not yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I still don't like that they're having Saudi shows for the prince's sake, but
right.
It's still the thing that, okay, they're turning me around to it because we're not throwing in 50, 60-year-olds who could lose their masks, hair, anything, break ribs, pecs, or whatnot. And we're getting more towards a better product that's going over there.
Next week when we talk about this, I do want to dive in because I don't have them up, but I'll make sure I pull them up. Noon, no, on a Saturday.
Yeah. It's tough.
How many people are watching it live? And I'll leave it there because I know you guys can do your research, but I'll wait until next week to say noon against so and so. It's definitely not Pitt and Syracuse because that's a 3:30 game. Of all times, and let me stop right there to bitch and moan about this. Did I want it to be a noon game? Yeah, I did. I wanted it to be a noon game because then I could go to IWC.
Yeah.
Did I want it to be an 8 o'clock game? Not really, but those tickets are already bought, and I know IWC is now out of the loop completely. You put it at 3:30, the Syracuse Pitt game. IWC, the venue, is roughly an hour away from a stadium in Pittsburgh or in the outskirts. To get there, 3:30 games usually end at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the show starts. The way Pitt's been playing, I could leave at halftime and make the IWC no problem. Or if the Pitt team that played West Virginia and even Tennessee shows up, I'm not leaving till 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to IWC an hour late because I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
So 3:30 is the worst possible time you have a Pitt game.
Yeah, and they did it to you.
The wife wants to go to both.
Does she?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not a close game by the time fourth quarter rolls around, and you can.
In Pitt's favor, though, right?
Yeah, right. In Pitt's favor. It's not a close game. You can zip out. I had to pull up the college football schedule to see what's going on next week.
That was the only teaser I had for next week. You're an asshole.
I'll leave it off. There's not. We'll leave the teaser for next week. But there's interesting across the board. We'll say that.
Okay. We'll talk about it in our second break now.
We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. I've said this for months, several months, possibly a year now. Sheamus is getting long in the tooth. Everything he's done in the last 3 months, he deserves another run. Not a 5-minute run. He deserves a nice, healthy run. I love the match with Solo. I love everything that they did with Imperium. I just love this. Sheamus has a rebirth with his homeboys of the Brawling Brutes. And I've waved this flag. Are we seeing it? Are we seeing this because he got screwed over type of deal thing? And we'll get to the bloodline by themselves. This is only about Sheamus right now. Are we going to see that he's maybe a player for Roman? We still have more to talk about there, though.
He could be built up to be one of the final people Roman has to overcome before the big match, before the big blow off that we think is coming. Sheamus, you're right. The past 3 months, I discredited him early in the year because I discredited the Brawling Brutes. But now they have benefited from better booking, better things going on with them. Now they're in a better position that I can't discredit them anymore. I can't say Sheamus is terrible. I can't say anything like that. Sheamus is putting on banger after banger after banger after banger. To quote his Twitter, after banger.
I wondered where you were getting that from. Yeah.
I wondered. Yeah, I know. Big surprise, guys. Again, Solo's match was another reminder of that. It's just another reminder that Sheamus is actually a great hand to have when he's given the proper outlets, when he's given the proper matchups, and not stupid things like Jeff Hardy and the drug tests and throwing piss on him and things of that nature. When Sheamus is put in a best situation possible, he prospers. That's why and people can come at me if they want. This is obscure reference maybe, but when Sheamus and Big Show had that rivalry way back when, I think it was 2012, and it was actually good. It was a banger feud. That's because he could get his outlets out and he could have the match that he wanted with Big Show. You don't say that with Big Show matches. You don't say, oh my God, he had such a great match. He's such a workhorse and things of that nature. Sheamus was allowed to get that outlet. So to me, I'm trying not to use the word banger again. He's finally able to come out on his own, and it's showing over the past couple weeks. I'd love to see a run. I'd love to see him get a crack at Roman, because I don't think we've gotten him the challenge for Roman's title yet.
Bangers, F-bombs, and pumpkins. That's why we named it this.
Bangers, F-bombs, pumpkins, and awesome. Awesome bangers, F-bombs, and pumpkins. There it is.
I have to write that down because I won't edit this after 3 Maker's Marks, heavy Maker's Marks tonight. Yeah, I'm glad you're finally on board. It took you just as long to get back on Sheamus as it me to Acclaim.
I know. And that's because I think I got so sour of Sheamus just because of the way he was booked and the way he wasn't allowed to fully prosper. It got boring. And now he can do stuff that it's not boring anymore.
It did.
Yeah.
And I will say a lot of this is because of Butch. And we hated Butch.
We hated the name Butch.
Yeah.
We hated that they transferred Pete to Butch. And now we're like,
it works.
Butch. We're good with Butch.
We're good.
Butch.
Butch is better than Pete Dunne.
What the hell was Pete Dunne?
You brought up Liv earlier.
Yeah.
And damn it, I'm mad that Sonya's the one that's taking the wrecking ball, because I've always waved Sonya's flag. I'm a huge advocate of Sonya. Everything she did in Absolution prior to that, I love Sonya. I hope she wins the Money in the Bank next year. I mean, because I think they're wasting her.
No.
But let's get to Liv. She loses the title. What is this extreme? Is this, I'm asking you the question right now, to throw us off thinking she's going to be with Bray, so we forget about that Alexa was with Bray?
That's a great question. I'm thinking so.
Injured. I didn't do air quotes, but it was insinuated.
Yeah, I know. But I think so, because they're playing up the menace turned possessed angle pretty well with Liv here. That I think so. She's turning into a Harley Quinn-esque character, if you will, in her portrayal. And you could say she's corrupted by Bray and all of that. It could be to throw the scent off. I think you're actually right with that, because they're both on SmackDown now, so that's easy to do. So you make connections. You're like, okay, that makes sense. Where do we go from here? I just want to see. I agree with you. I'm a little perturbed that it's Sonya that's getting the receiving end of this, but I think they needed somebody to sell this well. And they needed somebody who would be able to take this kind of abuse and kind of roll with this character a little bit and let Liv vet this out. So I think in that aspect, Sonya is the perfect fit for it to make it develop out.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a Bray-centric turn, but at the same time, is it though? Or is this long-term storytelling that we're seeing? Is this a Julia Hart situation? Let's put it out that way.
I don't think it's a Bray thing.
Okay.
In my heart of hearts, I don't think it's a Bray thing.
This is a separate going crazy moment. I would agree with that.
Yeah. where it pans out, we've thought, because a lot of things have shaken down, and we'll get to them, maybe Liv is part of Damage Control. She was in another random faction like Damage Control at one point. She could be, we could possibly, this is where my head has gone, get a whole Bailey switching because she gets mad at them or whatever, and Liv is now the leader of Damage Control, like the Riot Squad, a la Judgment Day and all of that. Is that too soon, though? Because we just saw that a couple months ago.
I feel like it's too soon, but Damage Control feels incomplete. However, in my mind, I started thinking that Bailey's not the leader of Damage Control. There's somebody else pulling the string. I don't think it's Liv, though. Who that is, I'm not sure. I could guess, but that I could see it being Candace pulling the string, to be honest. Is it? Who knows? But I think there's somebody else pulling the strings. That's why it just doesn't seem to be clicking or like running on all cylinders. Bailey's not the leader of this faction, I don't think. I think there's somebody else involved. Who? No idea. But to that point, maybe I like where your head was going with maybe Liv stepping into that role, or maybe there's been a turn somewhere where maybe they turn on Bailey, where they're like, you're not what we thought you were, and Liv steps into that role. And then it's utter chaos. Because to me, I would have thought Damage Control would have been utter chaos.
Yeah.
Would have been somebody, to your point, Riot Squad, Absolution, that caused chaos, interrupted matches, started beating people down, but did it in a way that really shook up the environment that those two groups didn't have the chance to do when they were stood up, which I think was because of creative restrictions on them. Back then. Now we can lift those restrictions and they can have more of it. What a turn of events if Liv is the one that becomes the leader and leads them to that ultimate destination type thing. That would be interesting to see. Or maybe there's something else brewing, because there's been Servo's coming back. They're bringing back.
Yep, we'll get there.
Yeah, we're getting there. That's coming back too. So what's the game plan here? It's really breaking down.
Fire and Desire joke. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And remember, I don't know, was it 3 weeks ago? It was definitely at least 3 weeks ago. We bitched about the what chant.
Yeah.
Why does every crowd only want tables? What was wrong with what Liv was doing, getting the whole Cactus Jack Terry Funk as many chairs as she could get?
Yeah.
And do that suplex? That sold it to me. Every match that goes extreme, there was the air quotes, doesn't need a table. I don't need a table in every match.
No.
It's the only. Why do we want table? No, we don't. No, we don't need a table in every match. Where's the we want a kendo stick chant?
Where's this? Yeah.
Where's the we want the pub bar?
We want a chair. We want a bat. We want some shit. We want Mitch the Cactus to get thrown at somebody again. Mitch the Houseplant, or whatever the fuck that thing was. Throw that at somebody. I don't get it. I don't get the allure of tables. To your point, I think tables are overused.
Yeah.
I love...
Especially an announce table on Monday night.
Every time. I love seeing a pile of chairs being in the ring and them using the pile of chairs. I think that's brutal. I think that has to hurt more than going through a fucking table, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll give you this, because I'll go back to Halloween Havoc real quick. There was one table spot that I thought was unique in that match, and it was Von Wagner throwing Wesley onto the announce table from the ring. That was fucking mind-blowing, because how the fuck did he reach that far, right?
Right.
That's a great table spot. But not when you overuse it every goddamn week and you're trying to pull off a dive off the side of the ring, a dive from the ring to the post, and that. Tables lose their allure. I just want tables to go away. Like this gimmick pay-per-views are going away at this point. It just seems like an overused object right now.
I'm not feeling this. I did not listen to Busted Open at all this week, so I don't know. We were just busy. If it's the Dudleys or whatever incarnation that Bubba Ray and Devon are in the ring, you can chant "We want tables" all you want.
Right.
That's their thing. Yeah. Go to town.
Yeah.
The first sign of somebody ran into the stairs outside. Whoa!
Table.
We want tables. No, we don't. We don't.
We don't need a fucking table.
Yeah. Hate is coming. The wrestling audience is getting dumber.
I would agree with that. It's a product, though, of the way you book your product and the creative control of your product. Let the hate come. Let the hate reign. But for many of the years of the Vince McMahon, tomorrow. Yeah, I know, right? The only thing for the Vince McMahon years was they had to dumb the product down so that children could accept it or could get into it more, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but there has to be a healthy balance. But when you do that, you're now seeing this result. What's CM Punk's? Well, that's not anymore because he came back and fucked everything up. But again. What's tables? It's very simplistic thinking that people are conditioned to now. Back in my day, you go to Philadelphia and they start chanting, "We want blood." Like, that was the big thing. I remember watching...
It was a cheese grater.
It was a cheese grater. I remember watching, I think it was Slamboree 94. They're chanting, "We want blood." And Heenan's making fun of them for it. But it was cheese graters. It was just, it was sadistic. It was how creative the crowds got. That's why ECW was so...
Original,
because they had people bringing frying pans, fucking house plants, cheese graters, fucking their mom's nightstand special
stop
toy
sign,
things of that nature. They had it all because they were being creative and they could be smart about it and be very creative with it. But we've had to take the product back because we were trying to hit a certain demographic, start building it up, which is fine. You got to build them up, but we have to embrace that. Smart people have to figure it out, but they need to be challenged to kind of figure it out. And I think it's kind of dumbed down. To your point, it's dumbed down the fans a little bit.
A lot.
Well, that's why we get This Is Awesome every 3 matches in WWE.
Does anybody want to see Almost against Braun? Quickly. I'm not going to bring it back up in Raw either. This is just a one shot.
Big meaty men slapping meat. Although it's going to be piss poor slapping meat, because there's no way this is going to be. Time this match 6 minutes total.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes and 59 seconds too long.
And Omos is getting slammed.
Joaquin Wilde, Santos, Vega, the other guy. What do you call them?
I couldn't even pronounce their name if I tried.
But Legado del
Fantasma, right.
I do not want this to be shortened down to LDF. Not that that means anything. I don't know if it means anything, if it's an acronym for anything. I'm missing the mark. Do not call them LDF. And if it means anything, I apologize right now. I don't want it. What is wrong with calling them Legado del Fantasma? That is such an awesome name.
Yeah.
For my last name is Martinez, so I can say this. Hispanics, and it just sounds amazing. It sounds like there's so much royalty, but they will spit in your face.
It's different name.
Right.
It's legitimately different name.
Stop acronyms. We both take a drink at the same time. So
there's no reason to shorten it. There's absolutely no reason to shorten it. even though my simplistic mind couldn't think of the name
It's all right.
in that split second. But there's no reason to shorten it. There's no reason to do a lot of things that they fucking do. But anyways, before I get on that high horse and soapbox again, I agree with you. They don't need to shorten it. I love the infusion of Vega into this. I didn't think I needed it.
I needed that in NXT.
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't need it in NXT. We didn't think we needed it. But now that it's happened, it's like, oh, this is better.
It's spicy.
This is spicy and this is better. I like this a lot more. It gives Vega a lot bigger thing to do and a lot better things to do. This is gonna be
Gets
fun.
her away from the Queen. Gets her away from the Queen. Carmella, but gets her away from any of the tag team stuff that's going on.
But at the same time, the name itself elevates that Queen status. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
they're not gonna lean on it. They're not gonna lean on it, right? But we're not simpletons. It's in the back of our mind. This group, you said it earlier, it provides a little sense of class. It's a little bit more dignified. Speaks of a queen. It's more dignified, and it seems a lot better than it was in NXT.
Rolling along on SmackDown, and we'll encompass this all together between Raw and SmackDown now, because I want to save this last one before we roll over to Raw and talk about Bloodline as well. Ray going to SmackDown. Oh, taking the hat off.
I had to take the hat off. I got heated. All right.
Ray going to SmackDown. I'm actually all for it. If you listen to me and Ryan go back and forth a little bit, cool. Because there's a lot of other things going on for Judgment Day with the OC. It kind of makes more sense. Get Ray away from Dom, because goddamn Dom still is not even Eddie Guerrero's jockstrap.
Don't disrespect the Eddie Guerrero.
My God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If anybody needed to go back, I'm sorry. If anybody loves Dom, I apologize. If anybody needed to go back to NXT, maybe his in-ring stuff has gotten better because he can now be villainous, vicious, or whatever. His promos sound like my 5-year-old nephew trying to fight Yosemite Sam. I can't believe that he's bad at all. Like, has he hitting puberty yet? Or just we're vicious tonight. We're ruthless. It's all right. It's that time of the month, apparently. I can't believe him being mean at all. I'm this year's Eddie Guerrero. Or he was the era of Dom Mysterio. I understand it's his voice. And Mike Tyson didn't have and he was tough too. But facial expressions. Dusty will tell you, rest in soul. Al Snow will tell you. Make a meaner face.
Yeah.
I can't believe Dom. I've never been a Dom fan, so maybe that's it. But I'm glad that Ray's away for a short period of time, because we know it's not going to be long.
Right. Well, going off the Dominic thing, I think it goes back to he definitely needs to go back to NXT. He needs to take promo classes. He needs to do things of that nature. But now I started thinking back. Do you know, to me, when NXT was really kicking off, it had built the talent up prior to Dusty's death to sell everything in promos. And they told the story in promos because of Dusty, because he taught them facial expressions to use, how to act. Now, after Dusty, you could see the change in product. The veterans understood that. But those coming in didn't really grasp that promo-esque, how you deliver a promo, how you act in a promo, how you look in a promo. They don't grasp that because they don't have that certifiable teacher. Now, I'm not trying to attack the mentors down at NXT because there's a lot of great wrestlers or former wrestlers there. But I think it speaks to the level of talent that Dusty was and the level of teacher Dusty was because we're seeing talented individuals carrying forward that are now main event stars because they learned how to deliver those promos in a very Dusty-like way. And now they're able to show that. I think Dom would have benefited big time from Dusty. I think anybody would. I think they need to find Dom the right teacher to sell the promos, though. I don't.
That is dad, and I'm not knocking Ray.
But let's go off of that. Ray doesn't have a face when he's telling a promo because it's hidden behind a mask. Yes, he has like the mouth open and all that stuff, but Ray doesn't have a face to sell. So I think that hinders him a bit. Who do you lean on though for that? Edge maybe, but is Edge a good enough teacher to get that point across to Dom? It's finding the proper person to say, man, you have to sell it as a heel in this fashion, in this way. But again, to that point, Dom has to be open to it. And if going off of that, if Dom's not open to it because he learned from his father, which is not a bad thing to do, then how do you make that sell? How do you make that transition for Dom until he figures it out for himself? And eventually it's going to click that I'm not doing this right. And it could be a youthful pride thing.
Eyes right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. But I wonder if it's a youthful pride thing, as maybe he's just thinking, I got this. My dad taught me. But we're not taking it to that next step of your dad wore a mask for a majority of his career. And there's a reason why his work without the mask, the filthy animals and things of that nature, isn't really brought up that often.
Didn't work.
It wasn't brought up that often. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. He needs that proper teacher or somebody that can get through to him. I don't know who that is. I don't think it's in Judgment Day. I don't think it's on the Raw roster. I don't even know if it's on SmackDown roster. But somebody has to be able to get it through to him.
Is it Shawn Michaels? That's your number one down in NXT right now.
That is. I would hope. I would have thought it would have been William Regal, but that I don't know if that ship hadn't sailed, if they tried it or not. It's got to be Shawn. I don't think it's Matt Blue.
Go down now, it has to be Shawn.
It has to be Shawn. Yeah, I agreed. It's not Norman Smiley. God bless Norman Smiley, but it ain't Norman.
No. All right, Bloodline talk, and then we'll get to some other stuff. No, wait, Judgment Day, real quick. Does Rhea slamming Gallows, is that a big thing for you? Because it sounded like it was the slam heard around the world.
I mean, it wasn't as big as they made it, but I thought it was pretty impressive. I mean, I wasn't expecting her to pick up fucking Luke Gallows and slam him on the ground. So I bought into it. I was like, oh shit, okay. That's fun. It was something different, I think it was. It wasn't like, oh my God, Hogan slammed Andre. It happened. It was, oh, well, that's different. I wasn't expecting her to actually get physical in that way with a male competitor. Like maybe slam AJ, I would see, but not Luke Gallows. Gallows is a big, beefy man.
He is a big, beefy man. But it did nothing for me because just my thoughts as the leader of Judgment Day and the most powerful person in Judgment Day, because no disrespect to my cousin, Punishment Martinez, or Damian Priest, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He's not the power anymore. It is Ripley. So I would expect her to slam Braun if she needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, okay, but it really was like Hogan slammed Andre. And by the way, go back. We're not saying that was the first time Andre's ever been slammed.
Right.
But it was the most noteworthy. If you want to put that in air quotes, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I just didn't think it was that big of a deal when it happened. Like, that was the first thing I saw when I was pooping at 3:30 in the morning going to work Monday, that Rhea Ripley slammed Gallows. I'm like, I need to see this. So I didn't eat breakfast. I fast forward Raw to see that. And I'm like, oh, it was a scoop slam.
It was a scoop slam on the outside. Wasn't overhead. Wasn't anything too crazy. I let me ask you this, because I want to kind of speculate. We went there. Gallows, there was a promo later on in the night. Gallows said, or one of them said, who are we going to get to handle Rhea? Who are you getting to handle Rhea? Do you know? Who would they pick?
Do I know? Pointing the finger at me.
Do you have any thought that pops into your head of, Who are they going to pick up to go pick up Rhea? Take out Rhea.
Judgment Day has 3 feuds going on right now.
I know.
With Ray, with Edge and Beth, and now with the OC. Point would be somebody's injured again, and Edge has to step in for the OC. But we're not going to get a mixed Survivor Series match.
No, I think to that point, this is the War Games match we're getting. It's Edge and the OC versus Judgment Day and whoever they had as their 4th member. It has to be Beth as the one that comes out and attacks Rhea during the match. I would assume so, because that's the only person that is built up larger than life right now that could take on Rhea.
All right, so let me twist it this way. Who is the 4th member coming out for Judgment Day?
Okay.
Yeah, crickets.
Crickets. Who are they paying? Are they going to shove Baron in there?
Oh, boy. Let's go there before we tackle the bloodline then. Man, I was so happy to see JBL come back. I love JBL on pre-shows. He adds something to pre-shows. I like his shtick. I always liked his shtick. When he announced it as Corbin, with no drastic change in anything Corbin has done, that's a disappointment for me.
I was expecting Corbin to be a JBL-esque character at this point, or like something along those lines, where more refined, more money savvy, not like Happy Corbin. I thought he was going to be more straightforward Baron Corbin. I don't know if it works.
I would have rather seen Lone Wolf come back with him.
I agree. Completely agree. Or some sort of variation of that. Something darker, but no, we're getting Happy Corbin. We're getting investing in money Happy Corbin.
It's not Happy because he doesn't have the Hawaiian shirts, but it's not broke-ass Corbin. It is like...
It's Corbin. To me, it's Happy. I get he doesn't have the Hawaiian shirts, but it's Happy.
It's middle-class struggling Corbin. It's what it is.
Upper middle-class struggling Corbin who's trying to hit it big in the stock market. That's where we're at right now.
Hoping the Powerball wins.
Yes. He's not blue collar. He's making enough money to get by. But at this point, they should have just announced JBL was his uncle or some bullshit. Might as well pull a Kurt Angle with Jason Jordan card. Still pissed about that. Surprisingly, everybody knows that by now. But they might as well just pull that card and say, oh, JBL's my uncle. He's going to give me money, and then we go off from there, and we start some sort of great $1 million management.
More the investment thing.
And completely agree. But I don't know.
Still teasing, because I have to mention this segment. Man, I love the truth. And the match itself I could care about. Yeah. But the Miz Gargano truth segment, I was rolling. I was rolling in laughter.
Did you see the NXT segment with Truth?
I did.
Because that one got me good too. It was somebody said Truth there, and then he came strolling out, and he thought it was Halloween Havoc. It was hilarious. But it had Grayson Waller. It was perfectly done. But I was rolling with the Truth, with Gargano. This is what I like to see. I like Truth popping up randomly and just showing up in places. Like, we haven't seen Truth in a while. Yeah, he's doing things with Shelton on Main Event. This was fun. This was finally fun. We needed that comedic break from everything we were seeing. I love this.
All right, we teased it long enough. There's a couple other things I want to talk about it, but Sammy's still the number one person in the bloodline. That hasn't changed. I'm sure I'm speaking for you as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing big predictions, but let's talk Logan Paul, bloodline, Roman. Is this the right time? Could it make sense? And then there's a huge twist. Because let's throw this out there. It is, I talked about it a little bit last week. The Rock said he's the head of the table. That is a solid mic drop. Boom. That's WrestleMania. Titles are not going to be on the line in that because they don't need to be.
Yeah.
That's your main event of main events of main event Sunday night at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's your main event. There doesn't need to be a title. There shouldn't be a title because if The Rock wins and he wins the titles, well, fuck. Where are the titles going?
He's
Fast
doing
and Furious
Black Adam.
26 or what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the time? I don't want to give predictions yet. I just want to pick your brain because so much can go from this. You could get him to lose. Logan wins. You could have Austin come out, take one of them. Then he's got to only stick on SmackDown. Somebody could say, hey, you're a joke. He could be the greatest transition champion for 2 weeks. And Roman will not look bad because Rock came on the Jumbotron at Saudi. You have to start pushing it now.
Right. I don't think Rock touches Saudi with a 10-foot pole, PR-wise. He's not touching Saudi. Anything Saudi related. But
stop giving predictions away.
I'm not giving predictions away. That was just my general thought process. Not thinking ahead, though, you're right. You have to start it now. They had to do that with Batista and Triple H back a couple years ago for WrestleMania 35. They started at, SmackDown 1000, where Batista started throwing jabs. You've never beaten me, things of that nature. So, and that was right around this time.
No pay-per-view after Survivor Series until Royal Rumble.
That's true. Day one's gone. Everything's gone. I would play devil's advocate and say, if you pull the trigger on Theory, which I like your thought process, and it's a transitional championship for 2 weeks, I think it would have to be when Cody Rhodes is ready to go. Because I think that's the champion, the person that takes it off of him, if you're not going to have him take it off of Roman. Who else would you line up for that to split up the titles at that point? Is that SmackDown wise? Because we could sit there, I guess you could sit there and say Drew, KO, things of that nature. But would that make that big of an impact? Would that make sense to drop Theory like that for 2 weeks? I personally don't think so.
Theory could just take the Raw one. I'm saying that they're separated. Maybe Roman keeps the SmackDown one. Theory only takes the Raw one. Because, all right, Survivor Series, whatever happens, I don't think he's defended the title. He's got to defend the title at Royal Rumble. He's not going to defend the title. I don't know. I didn't look that verbatim into the whole schedule. Is there anything in between Rumble and WrestleMania? You have to have February or March. It might not be or, but I think there's one in between there.
They announced Chamber for February. That's okay. On the docket. Let me clarify what I was saying before. I was building off of what your scenario was that Logan won the match. So are you saying that Logan wouldn't win the match? I was playing off the scenario. Logan wins the match.
Logan wins the match and takes the titles.
Right. And then I was playing off of Austin cashes in on Logan and takes the titles from Logan.
Okay.
But in my mind, you don't do that until you have the succession plan in place. And I think Cody Rhodes getting a title is in place somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's one of the one. I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is Theory's only defending one title at a time when he starts losing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm on the same page. Okay. Go back with your thought. Now I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah. And then he loses one to Cody. And then if Chambers, maybe he keeps one for a while. I don't know. Nor do I care at this point.
Yeah.
But I think Cody rolling back at Rumble, because listen, that main event match, Cody and whoever's champion is going to be your Saturday night main event.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is taken away from Sunday Night Rock and Roman.
But I think we talk ourselves into a corner there because there's only one person that can be. You have to finish the redemption arc, so it has to be Seth Rollins. Which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm personally working under the theory right now. Pun intended.
You're working under Austin right now? That's amazing. How come you didn't do anything for us?
It sucks right now. He's not that big of a star. He's only Money in the Bank right now. I don't think he uses this Money in the Bank contract
at all
until the day of he has to use it.
You read the same thing I did.
I did. Yeah, I did see that, but I was thinking this a little bit ahead of time. What a great chase, though. But this kind of further cemented it. What a great chase that would be that night of Money in the Bank. Theory hasn't used it. He has to use it by the end of the night. And he's chasing the champion to use this fucking thing.
He's got to use it by the end of the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, is it the end of the Money in the Bank match or it's the end of the night? I don't know what the timing is, but if it's by the end of the Money in the Bank match, could you imagine the chaos that happens for fucking 2 hours? Let's say they put that as the main event. The fucking 3 hours of chaos, him trying to cash in on a champion somewhere, and he can't pinpoint him down. That would be fucking amazing television to me.
It'd be fun, at least.
It would be at least fun, and I think it would be great television.
So we didn't give a ton of spoilers away.
We didn't. I want to say this too. It doesn't hurt him like losing a cash-in would hurt Baron Corbin.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't hurt him at all.
Doesn't. Do I think Logan Paul's winning? Tune in next week. This is the last thing I want to talk about. And if you want to bring up anything, Corbin, Gargano, any of the other stuff, fine and dandy. How much you're pushing Ali to take the title away from Seth, that's not going to happen, but it's at least getting Ali going. They have destroyed somebody that could have been main event again. And his name is Matt Riddle. I didn't talk about this last week because I needed it only from you. Gets that big win over Seth Rollins, ends that feud. All right, the next week we're going to get the next night or whatever. We're going to get this and blah, 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 blah. And Riddle is just washed away. And now he's playing bongos with Elias again. Man, is this because we don't know if Randy's coming back, honestly, now? It has been out there. And they don't know what to do with Riddle.
I think it is because you're building him up for this mean streak to face Orton at Mania. Randy might have to hang up his boots after Mania. And he can't go one more match. I think we're in a position now where I think you're right. Because they don't have anything for Riddle to do. There's no path forward. His character arc was built around Randy Orton coming back and facing Randy to catapult him forward. He loses that. Is he in a waiting position to be next Money in the Bank, maybe? To kind of maybe give him a redemption arc at that point? That's the backup plan here. I think...
I don't want to see Riddle versus Cody. Guys, listen. My predictions when we do the crushies and everything, Cody is going to be champion in 2023 for a long time.
I don't even think that's a bold prediction. We can't even say that's a bold prediction because it's true.
It should happen. I really formally believe it would have happened this year.
I think it was going to happen at SummerSlam in Nashville.
I'm drinking.
Because it was perfectly done. It was set up that way. It was going to be Roman, Cody, and Roman's just holding on to the title now, biding time. And thank God the Sammy thing has worked out because the Sammy thing, I think, has extended the bloodline to a point where they can continue to carry this on. But I digress. Riddle's got nothing. There's nothing good for Riddle. I mean...
Even less for Elias?
Even less for Elias. I'm just happy we have Elias back.
Zeke was released. You did see that, right?
I did see that, yeah. That's unfortunate for Zeke. He had a lot of talent. I think if he would have kept the mustache, he would have been Macho Man's son. Would have been fine, goatee, whatever. But Zeke's on to bigger and better things. Now we're back to Elias. I don't know what they're going to do with Elias, but hey, you know what? I'm just happy Elias is back. Should be a heel though, but that's a different story for a different time.
I think he's getting there.
He probably will, but
to end the WWE segment, I said I had nothing, but I lied. Bayley is not the one that defeats Bianca Belair for that title. We'll reverse all the way back to kind of where we started this. And I'm not saying it's Nikki Cross either.
No.
They're holding. They're sticking and holding until Becky comes back.
Yep.
Bayley's gotten too many pins over Bianca to win that title. Thus, what you said, I kind of said as well, big match Bayley doesn't get the wins. That's when Dakota and Io say, we've held these titles for months. What the fuck are you controlling?
Yeah.
We don't know who the hell it is behind the curtain. Have it be I still want it more Candice. I really do. I really want it more Candice. I think she fits better than even Liv. I think Liv is just a turn for. Is it possible she goes Damage Squad or Damage Control? Damage Squad would be an awesome name.
Yeah,
be better, but nonetheless, does she go there? Is she part of Bray? I think Liv is just, and I hate to say this word, the throwaway again to see what's going on. Yep, that's about it. Alexis part of Bray. Alexis part of Bray. Alexis is part of Bray. Because we haven't had any reveals yet. We don't know. We definitely have not watched SmackDown last night like you guys did. Nikki Cross is, I don't know. She looked like, God rest her soul, Olivia Newton-John at the end of Grease. She did nothing for me coming back this week.
I think they have to build Nikki back up to her crazy persona that we saw in Sanity. I don't think it gets to that point, but I'm hoping it gets to, we're seeing a darker side of Nikki where she's a little more sadistic than she was superhero type aspect of it. Back to your point before, I'm still holding firm. We're getting a bait and switch at War Games with Candice.
Oh, I agree.
I think this is we'll know 4-on-3. We don't know who Damage Control's member is until the match happens. And that's when she'll make the turn. I also now think, because we talked about this, and I like where your head's at with Bayley isn't pulling her part in this whole thing. I think they turn on Bayley at that point too. And they do it's a double turn at that point.
Yep. Completely agree.
Win the match, you're inside the cage. Let's throw it out there. Let's say it's the last one. The last match. Credit thing comes on. Trademark comes on. We get the legendary Triple H bait and switch. Trademark comes on, and then they just start attacking Bayley to close the show.
The three of them.
Pummeling her, beating her down. Nobody's there to save her. And then they stand tall, and that's how the show goes black. Not saying she's the one to beat Bianca, but that'd be a hell of a build-up for a match, maybe at WrestleMania between the two. I could see that happen.
And then Bayley needs a friend.
Bayley needs a friend.
Do we know who that friend is?
Do you guys?
Do you have a legit choice? Yes.
I have two. Bayley needs a friend. Is it Becky? 4 horsewomen? We go back to that tie? Or do we find it in our old enemy, Bianca? I think they go either route here. That's where my head goes. Where's your head going?
I think it's a legit friend. A legit boss.
Oh. Okay. I see. Now I had completely rode her off into the sunset.
I said legit 3 times.
You did, but I didn't pick up on it. That's fair. That's fair. Does she come back? I think is the $1 million question. I don't know. Getting fancy.
Tattooed that she better come back. If she doesn't come back, Bailey better be this hugger then on my arm as well. The hugger's never coming back. I know.
You know when it's going to come back? The Hall of Fame ceremony. Yeah, I'll say it. The Hall of Fame ceremony. She'll bring back the inflatable arm tube men. Everything will come full circle at that point. But
I hope I'm there to get a hug.
You will be.
Anything else on WWE? Because we got a lot to talk about and probably another drink coming up for AEW.
Nothing else on WWE.
You got rosy red cheeks.
I know. I'm probably going to stop after this one.
Boo. All right, we'll be back. AEW coming up.
Hello, everybody. It is the savage, not average, backwoods girl, Papa's prodigy, Judy Hendricks, and you are listening to the most savage podcast out there with the most savage competitor in professional wrestling. Be sure to tune in and hear the most savage talks out there.
Welcome back, Can Crusher podcast listeners, brothers. We're back. It's AEW time, and it's Dynamite.
No, it's not.
Well, it's Rampage, but I wanted to say Dynamite, so let me live my best life over here, Mark.
You can live your best life. I always want you to live your best life. Everybody should live their best life.
Agreed.
God, I'm feeling this right now. If you made it this far into the show, you know,
God bless you.
God bless you. It's been a liquor show for no apparent reason. We're going to go quickly through Rampage because it was okay. But there's a couple things I want to talk about. Yeah, the Acclaimed, and I know we never skip over the Acclaimed. They got the scissoring action back. They beat the shit out of Sterling. It was, let's not knock this. It was their first title defense to get it underneath their belt.
Yeah.
Right? Before they move on, spoiler, to take on their next opponents. No spoiler. Eddie and Ortiz were kind of milling around in the back. Lucha Brothers thinks he's a bag of shit. Talking about Eddie, he needs to get his head on straight. Yeah. More on that, even on Dynamite. We'll talk probably there. Hook destroys Daivari. Nothing there. Lexi is with Paige and Stokely. Hardy wants to know what's going on. I don't know what Hardy said. That whole is a mess. Layla Gray and Willow. Willow gets the win. Doesn't give the title. Not that Willow has a title. Nyla Rose has a title that Jade has. And this is insignificant to everything in the wrestling world. We're going to get more of Nyla and Jade down the line. But Jenks, I know Rampage wasn't on your docket this week. A lot going on. You need to find the clip of Nyla Rose. You know the song from holy Christ, Four Non-Blondes, What's Up?
Yeah.
She turns that into a song about Jade and the title. As she's driving away. Now, not only does she have Jade's title, she has Jade's SUV. Vicky is sitting like me or you would have when we were teenagers, being hooligans, driving around town like a bunch of idiots. We don't promote it. Do what we say, not what we do. Sitting outside the passenger seat, looking across the top of the roof, just screaming like an idiot. It brought back high school memories of when we did stupid stuff. Which one could kill you, was illegal. You shouldn't do it, kids. But it's fun. I loved it. And then we get Orange Cassidy against Roosh against 10. Never thought that either one of those two were going to beat Orange Cassidy. Again, a first title defense. It was a nice pace match. still building Roosh, I think. Still building Roosh because 10 took the loss. Yeah. So Rampage was good for quirkiness. I'll put it that way. But Dynamite's a different story.
Dynamite was off the chain.
Shit gets real in Dynamite. I don't care where you want to go. If you want to lead, I got lots to say about everything.
All right, let's just start at the top of the program because I got theories. I got shit going down the list. But let's start BCC, Claudio, Wheeler, JAS. Fantastic match. I was surprised they won, to be honest.
Yes. Let me say this. I mean, granted, we've watched it. We're not watching it real time.
Right.
Yes, I was surprised they won. Knowing what I know going forward makes complete sense. I will add to this your caveat or whatever. I was surprised how fast they won.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
That's a good point because that was a very quick kind of match to kick off Dynamite.
For those four?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that you say that, I would have to agree. That was very quick, very fast. And I guess I was kind of surprised Claudio basically got the win. Okay. He did his shtick, did the runaround. I thought if they were gonna win, I would have thought Yuta in this point. I'm not hating it. Love it. Love that Claudio got to do his freaking freight train or whatever the hell it is that he runs around the ring knocking people down left and right to win it.
The giant swing was amazing, though, too.
The giant swing was amazing, too. Let's talk about that. Garcia and Jericho. Garcia on his shoulders, Jericho getting swung. Man, strong as a fucking ox.
How simple of a... I don't know how simple it is because I can't spin around twice without falling over not drinking. But why is the swing the greatest thing that Claudio does? Is it because it's the endurance of swinging so much? Like, listen, if I swing the dog or Ethan when he was a kid, because I can't swing him now, like I felt dizzy after that. Claudio looks like it does not affect him. Is there people that swinging in that circular motion don't get dizzy? This is a real goddamn question, by the way.
It's got to be muscle memory or some bullshit that you just do it so many times that it doesn't fucking affect you. Have you ever seen this?
Everybody is spun 9 million times in their life as a child playing Ring Around a Rosie or whatever.
It still knocks him loopy. He must have those built-in. I don't know if you've ever seen those glasses that stop motion sickness and that, but it's like the fucking water weights in them, and somehow it works. That must be built into his head some goddamn how, or he's a fucking robot. One of the two. That's the only explanation right now for fucking Claudio. He doesn't age. He's a fucking robot and a well-oiled machine. That's why he doesn't get dizzy.
But is he RoboCop?
Better version of RoboCop?
Right.
Is he the version that Sting wishes he had it in 91?
Yes. At least you got the I don't know. Like, I don't remember a time in my life that I have spun around. And I know people are going to say, well, it's where your feet placement are. You kind of stay in the same pattern. Whatever. Dude, I've tried it. It doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work for me either. I think it's a special group of people. Or he has no peripheral vision and he can't see anything outside just what's in front of him. And that makes it easier. I don't know if that helps.
Horse blinders then.
It's horse blinders or it's maybe does he close his eyes? I haven't looked at Claudio's eyes while he does that. I just watch people going around in a circle and losing their lunch.
It's a great point, actually.
We need to look at his eyes next time.
We need to stare deep into Claudio's eyes.
Somebody stare deep into his eyes and let us know.
But I agree with you. I was shocked that the BCC got the win. I thought this was going to be a society type of show from one, and it ends up getting there. But
it's surprising. I love the little thing between Yuta and Brian. afterwards. That was nice. I like that Claudio broke it up. Regal broke it up. Said we need to sit down like adults and talk about this. I wanted to mention that because I didn't want to overlook that because I thought that was a great moment. But we need to talk about what happened after that in what was a video package that talked about the Elite being blown away like they were snapped by Thanos. What?
We'll come back to the BCC thing because I have.
Okay.
When we get to the last.
Yeah.
Because there's so many theories. But you're right. This promo erasing the Elite from AEW, but listen, we read the dirt sheets. They're okayed now to come back.
Yeah. So is it the video package to bring them back? Does it happen at Full Gear?
But why are they erased?
Because in my theory, they're erased from existence because of the All Out incident. They haven't been talked about since then. Full Gear, they get replaced back into history. Because let's be honest, for the past month and a half, they have not been in the intros. They haven't been talked about. They've been avoided like the plague. Now all of a sudden, we're bringing them back into the fold. I think that's why. It's because they were erased from AEW history for a while. Now they're allowed to come back.
And they want people that don't listen to podcasts, don't read the dirt sheet, say, oh, shit, they're real about this. They're not bringing those boys back.
It still leaves that element of, oh, man, they're just erasing them completely from existence.
I love it, by the way.
Yeah, I do too. But I thought it was an interesting way to do it because your general promo packages, they don't look like this.
No.
They don't do anything like this. So.
Yeah. So the society, you're supposed to lead.
Yeah, no, let's go back to the society. Let's go back to BCC, finish our point on there because let's go back to
we can't skip. We're going to wait.
You want to wait? All right, let's wait.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just going to say that Jericho challenges any noted former ROH champion. Okay, so we could go through the list. We're not going through the list. Who is it?
I mean, obvious choices are Joe, people that we've mentioned. How long ago do you think they go back? I think that's the question. Do they dip into the 2010s? Do they push it a little further? I mean, they've already pushed it enough a little further, but what do you think? Because I default, because of my lack of knowledge of Ring of Honor, I'll say that. I have to default to what I know, which is Joe, Brian, which Brian's already been over there a million times. He who shall not be named will not be back for that challenge.
Yep.
So I don't think it's Cole. Is Cole still injured?
Wait, whoa, that was he who I shot. Oh, you were saying Punk?
Punk.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Cole we're allowed to talk about, but not Punk. But
it's not Adam Cole.
It's not Adam Cole. We know that.
Yep, it's not Adam Cole. I don't think it's Hangman yet either.
No, I don't, and it's definitely not Gresham. Where is it?
I was maybe thinking Gresham, but then I know he had a little bit of an outing.
Yeah.
So that he was on the mid of my brain thinking, maybe Gresham to get this over. Then I was just like rolling back. And then I lost my train of thought. Like right now, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I really, whoever it is, Jericho's going to defeat because we're not there yet.
That's the thing. I can't imagine it's somebody that's a big name that would lose to Jericho, right? I just can't imagine that's the case. I'm trying to find. I want to find a list on here.
Damn it! I don't understand. Sorry for the pause. I'm just trying to think of One that would come in and just do this a one-off or something like that. Like, this is really it. Do you see somebody?
Couple names popping out. Couple that are in the company right now. Some that are not. You know, I don't think it's Jay Lethal, obviously.
No.
Christopher Daniels is not doing much right now. He's backstage work. I don't think he's officially retired. They could thread out Christopher Daniels. Is Eddie Edwards doing anything right now? Outside of Impact, could they be doing a relationship with Eddie Edwards?
I don't think it's Edwards.
Homicide. He did have the title for what was apparently 56 days back in 2006. Could it be Homicide? Could they do something with Jerry Lynn? Is Jerry Lynn that retired? It ties back.
There it is.
It ties back.
He just tombstone Jerry Lynn.
Exactly. So it ties back to that whole thing.
Yeah. And no disrespect to Jerry Lynn. You're an amazing wrestler.
No.
But old, long in the tooth.
I'm looking at other names on this list. KO, WWE.
Not happening.
Roderick Strong, WWE, not happening. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, not happening. Austin Aries, is he free? Could it be? It's not going to be Austin Aries. I feel like that's too big of a one-off, one-night thing for Austin Aries to even think about. Michael Elgin is on that list. Do they bring in Elgin? I don't think so.
No.
Is PCO just trotted out there for the hell of it?
Just re-signed with Impact.
Yeah. I mean, deal with Impact. Let's bring out PCO. They already did Bandito. We talked about Gresham. Roosh, I think they're still building up, so they're not going to trot Roosh out there as his opponent. Because I don't think Roosh would care too much about the ROH.
Oh.
Prestige. Kyle O'Reilly, injured. Can't do that. We talked about Adam Cole. Jay Lethal's busy with Darby. He's not going to be involved in that. Jay Briscoe's on this list. I don't think they bring back Briscoe for a one-off.
They didn't sign the Briscoes because of
issues, so they're not going to bring him back for a one-off.
Yeah.
Match. So I think your leading candidates are Jerry Lynn, Daniels, maybe PCO.
So this list of who he can defend against is actually really trimming down quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. I don't think Nigel McGuinness is coming out of retirement to face him, to be honest.
No.
I don't know what mothballs they could find Low-Key under, but I don't think they're going to bring him back. Maybe. I don't know. But Homicide might be an option.
He's in NWA right now.
He is. And now, if you've seen the dirt sheets on that, they're working with WWE in some aspects. They're having talks with WWE. So why would you risk sending Homicide to an AEW to risk that potential relationship? You wouldn't. So I think the list is down to those three.
I don't think this is the time for Adam Cole.
It's not.
And I don't think he's healthy, by the way, either. I don't think he's healthy to make that comeback. I should watch his Twitch more, by the way, and watch what games he's playing. I digress. I don't think it's there yet. Because I think we both think if Adam is healthy, like, he is probably somebody that should carry this next ROH.
Yeah, and it's a big match. I think it's a bigger match.
Yeah.
We're not going to name him, and it'd be a one-off loss to Chris Jericho. I mean, if he came back, now let's back off this. They have done it before that they brought a guy out, not naming him, and it was big. It was monumental. They could do that. But I think if you bring out Adam Cole, it has to kick off a rivalry that lasts many months, and he has to defeat Chris Jericho. I don't think you bring him back to lose Chris Jericho.
I don't either.
So
but
I don't.
One match, yes, or whatever, but the rivalry, no.
No. I don't think it's that. I think that, to me, looking at this list, I named 3. I think it's a one-off Jerry Lynn match to tie everything of the past 3 weeks around and put a bow on it.
Yeah. My only other one is, honestly, that fences were mended and it's Gresham.
Yeah.
I forgot it was Jerry. Yeah, but that would be. So this whole, as sad as it sounds, because I want this to go on forever because I love the Ring of Jericho. This is going to be coming to an end quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. We have to go. Joe is busy, but not busy, because Wardlow's the one taking on somebody Wednesday night. I forget.
Yeah, Joe has to cross paths with Jericho at some point in this.
Yeah.
Maybe that's at Full Gear.
Yeah.
I think that's a big name match at Full Gear you have. TV champ versus world champ. Think about the appeal of this. TV champ versus world champ. You could put title for title or whatever you want to do. That would be the biggest thing to me, is you want to destroy Ring of Honor. You take all the titles, right?
That would be awesome.
That would be. So Joe versus Jericho, maybe the play here, because I don't think it's Garcia yet.
No. I think Garcia's got to lose that championship first.
That's fair. I guess it's, who does he lose it to? It's not
Danielson.
Is that at Full Gear, or is that Yuta and Danielson at Full Gear? That's the other thing. There's too many possibilities going on here that it's like, where do you play off and how do you tie in the different world champions to play in here?
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
I don't. Maker's mark.
Yeah. All right. We talked about ROH Championship. We'll go down the card. The thing that pisses me off, FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. I knew the Guns were going to get involved in some capacity. What I hated was that there was a low blow before the final fall of the match, which I guess speaks to Swerve third ascension, because Keith wants to keep it clean. Swerve's all about getting a win any way possible.
Which, let me stop you there for a second.
Yeah.
Which gives away, to me, the Acclaimed against Swerve in Your Glory next week. So the match is already, the Acclaimed wins that series because Swerve in Your Glory is breaking up.
Yeah, they have to be.
It's there. That's when it happens.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Why does FTR have to be the ones that get fucked in this?
I think it's because FTR is the next challenger up, and it's at Full Gear.
Bigger match.
Bigger name match.
The Acclaimed
is actually talking me off the ledge right now. I just want you to know that, because I was really pissed about this last night, because I didn't think this far ahead. But you're right. If that title match is taking place next week for the rubber match, yeah, the bigger match is FTR. They're not going to put FTR on a Wednesday night Dynamite against the Acclaimed. That's the bigger match. They're going to do it there. However, I don't like how the Guns are involved in this. I feel like the Guns are either going to get involved in the title match with FTR, or they're going to be added as a third team to this match somehow. That's where I don't know what the play is with the Guns.
I will say this. Whatever match that they're involved in, they're in to take the loss.
Yeah.
FTR is getting that championship. You're going to hate me. You personally, you're going to hate me sooner than I think they should. I wouldn't want them taking it from the Acclaimed. Thus, the Guns involved.
Gives them that
one of those schloads get the pin. Somehow, the Acclaimed screwed over. Then you have a little bit, again, between the Guns and the Acclaimed. FTR has the titles. They can do something else. We can forget that Acclaimed was champions because that's what they want you to do. FTR maybe begin their descent, and their final wraparound is essentially what they said. AEW may be the first championships they lose in a rematch and maybe a couple months down the line against the Acclaimed once they got rid of the guns. And then, no disrespect to the other titles, then they start dropping those and they are on their horse and ride into the sunset. 2023.
I don't hate that because I think that's accurate. I think they complete the quadfecta, I guess is what you would call it. They'd get the fourth title.
Is that a word?
Well, trifecta is, so I'm going with quadfecta. We're going with it. But we're making up words. It's after 8. It's fine. But what
are we calling this?
Quadfecta.
Awesome bangers, F-bombs, and pumpkins.
The quadfecta. The great quadfecta.
I'm not getting that in there.
That's disrespectful.
Remind me of all this tomorrow.
But I think you're right. Actually, let's go off of that. I think you're right. I think you built it up beautifully. I'm looking at, while you were saying that, I was looking at Revolution being that point where they start chopping titles. 2022 was the year of FTR. 2023 has to be that we're done. FTR is done at that aspect. I would even go as far, and this might be a bold prediction I could use for the Crushies or say by the Crushies. I don't even think it's bold. I think they lose them by mid-year. The titles all fall off by mid-year. They lose one every month.
Yeah. But yeah, by 2023, they're like, peace out.
Yeah. Peace out, Cub Scouts. We're done. But
I'll steal this one.
Do it.
I love the Bitch Fest. And I can't wait till Renee, Saraya, and Britt sit down. Renee was used. If they don't use her on another show again, Renee was iconic on this Dynamite. She was involved in everything that needed her to be involved in.
Yeah. This is what she's what they had been missing. Let's say that. Because they had to use Shivani for a lot of things in that nature.
And no disrespect to Tony, because I love him.
There's nothing wrong with Tony. Tony did an excellent job. Yeah. He's a commentator. Leave him at the commentator booth. We love him there. I loved him doing some of the in-ring stuff and all that, but I think Renee does it so much better. And her facial expressions are a lot better. Her actions are a lot better. Like, you could just tell when she started yelling at Britt and Saraya, it was like instant, and I'm lack of better terms, instant mom mode, instant, you guys need to cut the shit right now and deal with, we're going to have a sit down with this. It was the same thing. What was it? It was last week, I think, when the Acclaimed was in the backstage interview with them, and they were talking about the trademark and all that shit. And somebody started doing the scissoring thing, and she put his hand down just gently, like, no, You have to cut that out. You're not allowed to do that. She does it perfectly. She fits the role perfectly. And even we go into the MJF segment after that, she does it again perfectly. The eye rolls,
No, you could tell she was pissed when he was talking about, everybody knows Renee's married to John Moxley.
There's nothing.
I was hoping MJF would make he didn't though.
I thought he was going to make a jab about it, but it plays into my theory that I think is going on overall with MJF, and we'll circle back to that in the main event with what transpired in the main event. But I thought he was going to make a jab. I thought he was going to stick it to her and just take it and just pick at her, get like a slap in the face or try to do something, but he didn't, which was interesting to me.
Yeah. Quickly, Stokely comes out and MJF says, if you're within 190,000 feet of Moxley, you're going to be fired. Leave him alone. Da 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 da. Listen, I still think this is a ruse, rouse, whatever you want to call it. I really do. Even Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet.
Can we just
We'll wrap back around at the beginning. At the end, I mean. We'll wrap back around.
Because I'll say this. I agree with you. I want to see if it's for the same reason, though.
Okay.
Because I have my theory on why it's a ruse, but we'll go back to that.
We'll get there. The Kingdom and Wardlow promo. It's Wardlow against Taven is who it is. And I knew I'd get there. Wardlow, throwing this out there, wins. He's keeping his title.
Yeah.
But if there's time to bring Adam Cole back, if Adam Cole needs friends, because none of his friends are around anymore. Literally none of his friends are around anymore. This is where Adam Cole could go and make a, no disregard for the name, impact. Him, Taven. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been together before.
Yeah. That's a good callback. I hadn't even thought about that.
Because Bobby Fish is still saying, hey, I'll go to WWE. I was on Impact. OVW is next week. IWC maybe the following week. What is the wrestling in Seattle called? I'm going there. Like, Bobby Fish is pandering.
Bobby Fish is swimming upstream right now by himself because of his own flourishing. This was all by his own doing. Let's be honest.
It really is.
It's just by his own thing. There's nothing wrong with doing indie shows. There's nothing wrong with doing Impact. Nothing wrong with that. But he did this to himself where he was like, I want to go back to WWE. WWE's like,
Trips is like, good for you.
Do you have Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly with you? Because I'll bring it back if you have those guys with you. But if you don't, I don't want you.
Yeah.
There's no appeal for it here.
Kyle's on the shelf for at least another year. Yeah. Adam, we don't know. Oh, wait, but Adam, I love you. Adam's moneymaker is still in AEW in the form of Britt Baker. Why is he leaving?
Well, why is he going to leave? His friends, they might have been erased in a video package, but they're coming back now. I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason for Adam Cole to leave AEW.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah. You did it to yourself.
We'll see you on indie shows.
Yep.
I love Sammy and Danielson.
Yeah.
I really did. I never thought Sammy was going to win. Never in a day did I think Sammy was going to win. But those two work so good together.
Great chemistry. It was great chemistry. And this was their first match, right? Mm-hmm. I heard that correctly. It was their first time ever.
Yeah.
So great chemistry off the bat. I want to see more, maybe in 2023, more of them. I would love to see like Sammy going for a title or has a title and Danielson kind of pushing him further and further like he's doing with Garcia and he's doing with Yuta right now. But
I was just going to say Sammy could be a pure wrestler, I think.
He could be. I would like to see that. So I want to
the bad pure wrestler.
The bad pure
uses all three of his things before
yeah. The Jericho, what Jericho is to the ROH World title right now, Sammy would be to the pure title.
Yeah.
In that regard. So I would agree with you on that. I think it would be a perfect fit if they wanted to go that route in the next few weeks here. But again, Garcia has to lose it unless they're kicking Garcia out. So.
Do you think they're kicking Garcia out?
I don't put it past them. I think it could happen. I don't know, because I'm looking at ways, how does this get back to it? Is it a ruse by Garcia? Is he playing his own game? Because that was our theory 2 weeks ago. Is he playing his own game? Or does Garcia think he's back with the group just because he showed up? But they're not really on board with that.
We thought that it might be Garcia and Jericho in full gear for a title. That's
not going to happen.
You can't push that fast.
Yeah.
You can't. Can it last a Revolution? We've just named names that we don't think it can.
I think it's Winter is Coming or it's New Year's Slam.
I would give it New Year's Slam. I think Winter is Coming still too quick.
Well, I would then put the argument out there is New Year's Slam is only 2 weeks after Winter is Coming. So would it be there? Or is it something later in January? Because I think they do some sort of one-off TV product in late January. I don't know what it is. Is it Beach Break? I don't think it's Beach Break.
Beach Break is not in January.
No, there was like a beach show that was in the middle of goddamn January, or like in the middle of winter last year for them. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Probably around when it's spring break for the kids.
I don't know. It was just an odd timing of it because it's what I thought it was colon OC, and it wasn't winter. It was not summertime at that point. So maybe it was late spring or something. But I remember it being in Cleveland. It was like god awful cold or some shit like that.
Because that's the best place to have a beach, in Cleveland.
Well, that's what made it ridiculous was because it's fucking middle of winter. It's in Cleveland of all fucking places, and it's Beach Break. And then that's when Danhausen showed up. That's when
no arena.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called nowadays.
Yeah, right.
The whole Mox, the whole Phoenix and Penta and Christian and Lucha and Eddie, like, where are we going? Is Eddie going to be? Is Ortiz just going to leave him too? Like, Eddie is really on an island by himself right now. I know he's got Ortiz as a puppy right beside him, but
is this going to turn into like a Eddie redemption arc for 2023? You think, where Eddie's alone and Eddie's fighting the entire year by himself, and then maybe by the end of the year, I'm not saying he gets a world title, but maybe he gets a shot. He builds himself back up by himself to be in the running for a title shot. Is that where we're trending with this match? With this, not match, but with Eddie?
You have to tell me, and you don't have to tell me now, but I'm just saying, is it against MJF? I don't think it fits against MJF.
No, that's why I would think it's later in the year so they get the title off of MJF by that point. Maybe somebody beats MJF. It could be a one-off against MJF. You know what? It could be MJF. Let's be honest.
They have history.
They have history. It's also two distinctly different people and personalities that can talk each other. Just
to the grave.
Keep talking to the grave. So they could definitely build a program around that. That actually would be a smart booking. MJF, he's better than everyone else. Eddie Kingston, gritty, tough guy. You could call him a dirtbag if you want. You can do whatever you want. But he's building himself up, and he's just a dirty down fighter.
At Fyter Fest.
Oh, look at that! At Fyter Fest, perfect. It could match up. It could work out.
Because no disrespect, it's not a pay-per-view match.
No, it's not.
But it's a special match.
It's a special match, but I think Fyter Fest would be a good one. I think mid to late summer, even Grand Slam
or whatever it's called.
Yeah, right. Maybe Grand Slam. That'll be in New York. So why not put it in New York at that point? But we'll see.
Yeah, but then, God, we're way booking. But MJF New York, Eddie New York.
It's a hell of a fight. It's neutral ground, right?
Yeah.
Go 50.
Either or.
Yeah.
Be happy Rio's back.
No, I just glad Hayter got a win. I thought, by the way, Hayter takes a great crossbody.
She really does.
I thought she got injured twice last week and then this week. She takes that really well.
No disrespect. Rio's Rio.
Yeah.
Again, she was an ex-champion. She gives a great crossbody, though.
She does. And it really sold well. So I would agree with that. But let me circle back real quick. The promo before that, another triple threat for Orange Cassidy. Let me ask you this. Are they just burning through people for OC to drop the title in 2 weeks? Or 3 weeks at Full Gear?
To who?
Don't know yet. But it's a little weird that he's had 2 triple threat matches already. That kills 4 candidates right now. It just seems like they're burning through defenses for him. to transition it off of him. Is it Miro?
Is it Ethan Page?
Is it Ethan Page? That's another great point. We're burning through people left and right here. And I don't think Luchasaurus is beating him next week. I don't think Rays are going to beat him next week.
I don't either.
I think it might be setting up Ethan Page.
I wouldn't mind it being Miro.
I wouldn't mind it being Miro either, but I think Ethan Page, to your point, is a more logical candidate because he's there in the forefront right now.
And then we get Ethan Page, Miro.
Yeah.
Are we getting Miro back? CJ/Solana said Tony Khan has his favorites and Miro's not one of them, essentially.
That's fair. I mean, I would hope we get Miro back, but maybe Miro's just waiting out his contract and going back to the old ship.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. I thought he would. I love the Redeemer arc. Love that, but it is what it is at this point.
I would be really bummed if Orange loses it this fast. Honestly. I mean, I'm not. I don't even know if I'm a huge fan of the All Atlantic Championship, but I don't think like Pac took it overseas and maybe did some indies over there. I don't know if Cassidy's doing indies, so maybe this is the indie AEW title. Ethan Page does indies. Ethan Page shows up, or I don't know if he's going to this year. No spoiler, I don't know. But WrestleCade's in November.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty freaking big to have that title.
And
in North Carolina, where like Mid-Atlantic was, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Now, you said they didn't announce Ethan Page yet, right?
They did not. I'm not saying they're going to.
I'm not saying that either, but that would be a hell of a thing they're holding off for if they know he has an All-Atlantic title. And then you can promote the shit out of it for 2 weeks. Right?
Right. Does that sell more tickets than Saraya being at WrestleCade or Hart? I mean,
it's a big title. It's a big enough title.
It's on the show.
It's on the show. It's a big title for the show. It gives you that. Like I would say, Saraya is like that.
That just popped in my head, by the way.
What'd you say?
Savoir faire.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a fancy term there, bud. But you've derailed my whole. Okay. Saraya was like that mid-announcement kind of bump in ticket sales. Ethan Page is going to be. They're banking on being that last bump in ticket sales, maybe kind of thing. But who knows? I could be totally wrong on that, but I like your idea. I like Ethan Page being the one being it. It just seems to me they're running through candidates for him to face real quick. They're just burning through who he could face. So,
by the way, promo not paid for by WrestleCade or Ladies Night Out on November 27th. If you have the Title Match Network, Ladies Night Out will be on there. Already announced. Freya the Slayer, Judy Hendricks, which was just on the show, Jada Stone, which is on the show, Alicia Edwards, which I would love to be on the show. Like it's an amazing ladies show from WrestleCade weekend, which will be on Title Match Network. Make sure you watch it. Yeah,
I love it.
But there's a ton more too. Those are really Drunken Mark. Those are the ones he's remembered right now. Then we get to the main event. We had a Darby promo that I didn't understand at all. I'm not even gonna lie. I have no clue what Darby told me.
That's fair.
Did you?
No, because I was sitting there. I guess he was explaining why Sting was gone, but then I have no idea why he's unhappy. He's depressed, which I thought that was his whole gimmick to begin with. So I don't know exactly what the fuck the difference is now.
So you're yourself, but you're a little bit sad.
Better, Darby's got to go solo, I guess. I don't know.
Good,
but that's all I took out of it.
Final segment of the show. Final time of the show. Lots to unpack here. Overall, Mox against Penta. Mox wins.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were going to push the envelope. I don't care about the match. I'm not being a jackass at all.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to push the envelope a little bit. Never that Mox was going to lose the match.
Right.
We reversed back to the MJF saying, if you touch him, you're fired.
Good.
I believe that was just the key word. MJF never wants him to be at 110%. He's doing this to spit in Regal's face. He's going to be that backhanded son of a bitch champion that we want him to be. In my book, you have a different thought than I do. I already know this. But once he gets it, and we're going to touch on BCC as well. Once MJF gets this title, the firm is done with him. And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Because Mox will go on his 6 weeks vacation because he's got us to the promised land of MJF being champion. We need somebody or some people to get in a feud with MJF. Morrissey will be his first title defense because that's what it's getting set up for. I believe Morrissey, because once he actually fires him, because he's done his dirty work and he's paid him off, because it's all a ruse or rouse or however you want to say it, for TV, he spits in Stokely's face and says, more or less, get the fuck out of here. You're done. I don't need the firm. I got what I wanted. And then they turn on him, leave him in a puddle of blood, and then winter is coming, or whatever, is when MJF has to defeat Morrissey. No disrespect to Morrissey. He needs a couple title wins under his belt before he gets a real competitor. I'm saying Morrissey's a bad wrestler, but we're going to do this a little bit. Don't unpack BCC yet.
Not unpacking BCC yet. That's not where I was going with this. My theory is around MJF and the firm. So I agree this whole situation is a ruse. Not to the way you think it is, I don't believe. I think he's staying with the firm for a long time coming. I think Wednesday night and last week were two veils to be pulled over the eyes of the public. Promo with Renee, he mentioned that he wouldn't use the diamond ring to cheat. He would find other ways to cheat, but he wouldn't use the diamond ring. I think what he said to Stokely in that interview, you've mentioned it was a trigger, it was a key word to set the plan in motion. I agree with you. It's not the plan you're thinking, though. It's the plan to, let me say this. This whole year has been about the devil. He is the devil incarnate. The devil plays the games. You go back to devil made you think he didn't exist. He disappeared. What played at All Out when he came out? Sympathy for the devil. What has he been doing for the past 2 weeks? Getting sympathy for the devil. Regal's promo, the email from Regal. People hook, line, sinker bought into that shit. They were all an MJF's back. This past week, he gets attacked by the firm, and I'm putting that in air quotes, because the devil needs sympathy. He needs to think everybody's against him, the world's against him, people are buying into him. This is all a fucking MJF ruse that's going to come to a head when he beats Moxley, and he goes, I made you people become sympathetic for the devil, and the devil runs the show now. Probably in way better promo terms than what I just laid down.
That was great. That was great.
This is sympathy for the devil 101.
You know it.
Firm is in his back pocket. This is complete and utter bullshit by MJF. I see through it, and I love every minute of it. Because I don't know how he's going to top this week, but it's going to continuously build up till Full Gear. This is all sympathy for the devil 101 right now. That's where my head's at. It's not Morrissey's getting a title shot. I think the firm's in his back pocket still, but he had to be a sacrificial lamb to get the sympathy to progress forward to Full Gear.
I like yours better than mine.
That's just where I've been sitting on it because he plays way too much with words right now. He's been playing way too much with words this year. That's kind of where maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's kind of where my head went to.
Okay, so first title defense then. Moxley's getting his vacation.
Poor
bastard is now on week 12. But
yeah, first title defense is up in the air because I would have said 2 weeks ago, Hangman Adam Page. Page is on the shelf with a concussion. We don't know how long. Godspeed on the recovery with that. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Winter is coming. We also haven't even announced a tournament yet. There's no Full Gear tournament. There's not going to be a tournament this year, which surprises me. I don't know who it is. I don't know who the title defense is. I guess you could pick
Matt
and
Hardy.
choose.
Kidding.
Keith Lee. Is it? Well, maybe it's another BCC member. Maybe it's Danielson. He did have a little chirping match with Danielson a little bit. It continues the BCC storyline along with that. Could be Danielson. Could be Claudio. But
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, how much longer is the BCC around?
Well, that's a great.
Maybe the BCC's around, but they're losing a member real quick.
Oh yeah, they're losing probably Yuta or Danielson. I'm trying to figure out which one. I feel like they might cut out Danielson because he's been more sympathetic to Garcia and that.
Yep.
And Danielson's going to get the boot.
That's who I think it is too.
Yeah, because that's the link in this whole thing. Is he's not fully BCC right now. He's in his own thing. Because you see Mox is walking around with BCC stuff now. You see Claudio. You see Yuta.
Claudio and Yuta do not go to the bathroom alone.
Without each other.
Yeah.
Without Regal. Danielson doesn't do that. Danielson's his own person in this whole thing. So I think it's Danielson that's going to get dropped like a hat. Probably after Full Gear. Or it prolongs until winter is coming. And then he gets dropped. I don't know.
I like a little bit of longer story.
Yeah, a little bit longer story. Yuta beats him at Full Gear maybe, and then there's things progressing. And it's getting to a point. I think they have to build out the Garcia story a little bit more.
Is Mox involved in this? Because he's essentially the one that got his ass,
No, you know what? I think Mox isn't. I think Mox is getting longer than a 6-week vacation, to be honest. I'm thinking he's out through the beginning of the new year. Just give him a few weeks off. But
how do we get him there?
I think everything falls apart while Mox is gone, to be honest.
No. How do we write him off?
Well, that's the other flip side. Well, I think he can disappear after the title match because that's what he was going to do with Punk. He was going to disappear after the title match. So I think you can just have him disappear. It also gets him to Revolution because I'm betting he's the man at Revolution that faces MJF again for a return match, the title.
Deal.
The other flip side of this though is Mox is taking 6 weeks off. They just started Renee as an interviewer. They're going to take her off for 6-8 weeks.
Is it a bachelor vacation all of a sudden?
Yeah. Is he the only one staying home with the kid for this long? What's going to happen here?
Well, maybe it's about damn time.
It might be. About damn time. In a minute. Okay. Before I start singing that horribly. Maybe it is. Maybe he just wants time with his daughter.
Fucking ass to Cincinnati and watch this goddamn demon child that we have running through class and everything.
Yeah.
And let me go have some fun with Saraya and Britt.
Can you level set with this child? She's throwing herself through things like she's bleeding right now. Like you. She takes after her father. He's bleeding every fucking time she has a match with her stuffed animal. So
maybe.
But
he was hoping the Reds were in the playoffs. He wanted to go see the Bengals. By the way, my fantasy team got blown up today by my other fantasy team, not yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
we play each other this weekend, by the way.
Oh, we do. That is right.
Yeah.
You're gonna win, by the way. Spoilers.
I don't know. I have some injuries.
I have to deal with Russell Wilson as my quarterback. Is that this league? It's one of my leagues. It's two of my leagues. I know I have Russell Wilson. Oh no, I have Jalen Hurts. No, I think I should be fine. Not to brag or anything. I think it should be fine against you. But
yeah, you should be. I told you. I have some.
You know what? He's gonna lose. He's gonna do horribly this week because I picked him up in my guillotine league, and this is how I'm gonna lose my guillotine league. So
Lamar Jackson was amazing for 6 games. He's not showing up the last 2 weeks.
Well, here's hoping he doesn't show up this week either against Tampa Bay. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, by the way, Tampa Bay, I heard they're looking for a quarterback because the quarterback's wife is like...
They're looking for a fucking therapist at this point. There's too many people with too many things wrong on the team.
In all seriousness, and we're going to end this because it's been a long show. A healthy one. I'm okay to go to bed tonight. I probably won't have any nightmares of getting run over. If you just joined us right now, I don't know why, but okay. Go back and listen to the beginning. Does Brady make it through the year? I know we're weeks, 7?
Yeah, there's apparently an ultimatum on the table that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Giselle. I feel like it's you stop playing right now and come home.
Is she okay with him being the Fox analyst for the next 10 years, though? Only because it's a Sunday gig?
Yeah, because I think he's home more often. He can stay home, study, be with the kids, do all of that. And then he shows up, Friday, Saturday for a couple games, for 3 games. I don't know what it is. They have team meetings. I know that for.
No disrespect. She runs the family. She makes more than he does.
She does. She runs that family. But I think she was more or less happy with it because he wasn't getting the shit kicked out of him
now he is.
For 12, 17, 18 weeks, and now he goes back to get the shit kicked out of him again. So I think she was happy from that regard, but I don't know.
Looking at the schedule for Tampa Bay and looking at the schedule for the Steelers, honest, because we're going to end on, and I'm not calling wrestling a non-sport.
Yeah.
How many wins do you think Tampa picks up the rest of the year? Don't look at the real schedule, dickbag. Don't pull it up. I'm just saying which
I wanted to confirm
record?
this. I wanted to confirm what I was about to say. I honestly don't see Tampa Bay getting more than 5 more wins, which would bring them to 8 and 9. I think they're below 500.
I will say the Steelers may get 3 more wins for the year.
Yeah.
To be 5 and 12 or whatever the hell that adds up to be.
Tampa is not a playoff team. If they are a playoff, if they make it to the playoffs, it's because that entire division is trash right now. But that's the only reason Tampa's making it at 8 and 9.
Winning under 500.
Yeah.
You're saying.
I'm saying under 500.
But winning the division under 500.
Winning the division under 500 would be how they get to the playoffs.
And then no disrespect because I hate every team in the East, from the Giants, the Commanders, which is the worst name in football, almost like the Guardians, and the Eagles. One of them are going to have to be let out because your shit-ass Buccaneers has to make the playoffs because they won, air quotes,
their
division.
Yeah. This is the Seattle situation. Whatever that one team was, Seattle was one of the teams that went 7 and 9 that one year, and they made the playoff. It was the same year they beat the Saints, and the Beastquake happened.
Yeah,
it was just because they won your division.
You don't go to the playoffs in any sport. I said if you're under 500 in any sport, you don't go to the playoffs.
I mean, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I would be I think the NBA or somebody threw this out there where it was whatever your record is. Actually, I think it was hockey.
That's where you're seeded.
The best seeded, whoever the best records were, got the seedings. Whoever the most points got seeded in different ways, and that's the way it goes. Didn't matter who you were or what you were. You played whoever, and you go to the Stanley Cup. I like that personally.
Across the board.
Yeah. Whoever your top 14 teams are, that's who's going in. And it's by ranking. So
as you guys are listening to this, I'm going to ask Jenks. I know game 1 was last night. We don't know who's winning the World Series. In how many games? You don't have to break them down.
I'm not going to break them down. Here's my dilemma. Every time Philadelphia wins a World Series, we go into a recession and shit hits the fan. I hate the Astros with a burning passion. Not as much as I hate the Yankees. Spoiler alert to all Yankee fans, but I hate the Yankees even more. However, I said it Tuesday. I'll say it again. I'm going Astros in 6.
It's exactly what I have.
Is it?
It's exactly what I have. They win at home.
Yep.
Justin Verlander's the MVP.
Oh, Verlander. Okay. Yeah, I'd buy that.
He gets 2 wins, and he pitches in Game 6 on like a day rest.
Yeah.
And then he retires.
Be a perfect way to ride off into the sunset.
And then he celebrates on November 4th when me and him meet up for our anniversary. Don't forget, he married on the same day that I was married. He asked me. I don't know if that actually equals out to Game 6 on November 4th. Nonetheless.
It works.
It works in my head.
We're buying it.
I will throw this out here. Yes, it was on the 40-year dash, and this is how we're going to end. I cannot ever like Bryce Harper because what he had to do in Erie, chasing fucking foul balls and home runs. Go fuck yourself, Bryce Harper.
The Bryce was right, Mark. The Bryce was right.
Never in my life. The only one I want to win to another World Series in Philadelphia is Kyle Schwarber because he's a big drunk softball player. I like him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Bryce, the whole Erie Bryce Harper flashbacks. If you ever want to know, that whole weekend was just making asses out of ourselves for an opponent's player. That's all it was. And he didn't even know what was going on. It was all for the bottom dollar at that point.
Yep. Stealing balls from kids, letting them go to the not so good fun zone.
Moderately good time.
Let them have whatever they want. Just get this ball back so we can sell. I hate him.
Yeah. Agreed.
Remember, just because Bryce Harper's trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
We're garbage cans, not garbage can odds.